he get 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, he couldn't get the rest. In 1992, he said that Calypso ain't making when Carnival finished. They're throwing it aside. So what he decided to do is to open a furniture shop. The name of the song, The Poor Man's Furniture Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Trinidad Rio.
Merry New Year, ladies and gentlemen, and compliments to the race. All you know that I'm a joiner, and woodwork is my trade. Specialized in furniture, but only first grade. But due to this economy, where the price of lumber so high, I got to reduce the feature on all my furniture that poor people could buy. So I build wardrobes and buffets and cupboards with 2 faces with no drawers. I build cabinets and wagonettes, divan and dinner sets with no drawers. I work rubbies, I work lumber industries, 15 years by American stores. Building wardrobes and buffets and cupboards with 2 faces with no drawers.
Well, good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. This is the Justice Advocate program on a Saturday, in which we talk about relationship issues. But before we move on to the topic that we had today, the date that ruined my life, I would like to introduce you to the panel. We have Candace Edwards, the nice, beautiful Candace Edwards on set. And we have somebody from quite over Tobago. I'm sure this is somebody that plenty of you heard on social media. Lyndon Mack. So, I go hand you over to Candace and, and Lyndon, you could say hello to. So, Candace Edwards.
Hi, pleasant good night, everyone. Hi, pleasant good night. I am Candace Edwards, and welcome to Bacchanal Saturday. Tonight we have a topic, a hot topic. It is a topic that most of you guys, well, you men will be familiar with. It's some little schemes women like to try on men. You understand? So before let me go into it. So I was scrolling on a certain site and I would have picked up on this story. Right? It's about Mike and Jenna. Now I want you all to listen attentively and make your judgments. You all can call in, you all can send messages as well, right? And to be honest, you will see how conniving some of us women can be. Underhand behavior.
And this you're going down that road, girl, because it's a woman and I don't know.
No, well, Mr. Renison, I just call it like it is, I mean to say it have good man, it have bad man, it have bad man, and it have good man. So I just like to be, fair. Right? So, Mr. Renison, I'm watching at the intro that you post up here. Wow. So, here, let's begin. Mike and Jenna had been dating for about a year. Jenna was excited about her upcoming birthday and decided to invite 17 of her girlfriends to a fancy restaurant to celebrate. Mike agreed to join the celebration, thinking it would be a great chance to spend time with Jenna and to get to know some of her friends better. As the evening progressed, the group ordered appetizers, entries, desserts, and drinks without restraint. When the bill
So where you
finally
say,
arrived,
Candace, just now, so where you say, so the group of people that, that went on this date, the order one set of thing, all kind of thing, without discretion then.
yes.
Right. I just following along with the story. Right.
So when the bill finally arrived,
Mm-hmm.
Jenna stood up, pointed in Mike's direction, and announced, "It's my birthday, and he should pay for all of us. No
What?
woman wants a broke man."
So wait now. After the date done comment, right? He say yeah, we're going on. He had to pay for all of we, a whole 17 man.
17 man.
Alright. I just going along.
Right?
Remember you
Then she
say that
told him,
wait now, I know the moment I attack me outside it. I didn't read all this story then and this read all this and she scroll and she see that. So I just making my part clear. So if you know you wanted to rough me up outside it's not me. So Candace, go
then,
ahead.
then she went on to say, "No woman wants a broke man." Mike was stunned. He had come prepared to pay for Jenna and maybe a few of her friends, but certainly not for an entire party of 17 women. Embarrassed and feeling disrespected, he tried to explain that he hadn't anticipated covering such a large bill. Jenna, however, kept insisting and ridiculing him in front of her friends, who began chiming in with laughter and comments. Feeling humiliated, Mike quietly stood up, paid for his and Jenna's meal, and left the restaurant. He knew he deserved better than being publicly shamed for not meeting unreasonable expectations. So this here is the whole juicy scenario with Mike and Jenna, right?
But
Now the
Candace, just so
idea,
I mean, we want to play the video, so just
yes,
so the public to see what we speaking about because what you mean, social media is so different in Trinidad. I mean, all over the world right now. I mean, we had to play this video so people could see what we are speaking about. So we're going to play the video now, so the general public could take a look.
Like, you really just should have paid for all of our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's
You
food.
making
It's
us
your
broke in
birthday,
front of all
cool,
my
but I'm not
friends.
doing that. It's 18.
Why do G gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Nobody wants a broke
You
nigga. You
are
should
you?
Woo, bro!
So Candace, we just play the video so people could see. Understand and we all know how social media is in Trinidad, all over the world. This whole situation shocking. Now, before I make any pronouncement on this whole scenario that would have that I mean or I would have just seen. I mean I ain't ready to get this comment yet. Because I would have seen this whole thing as a whole manipulation type of game from the individual to kind of get the man to pay and I mean to publicly shame the man in a kind of way. But we have a guest and Lyndon, I just pull you in on the thing just so. I mean, where's your comment? I mean, I hear you talking all kind of thing on TikTok. I hear you talking about relationship issues. But what you have to say concerning this whole scenario?
Let me see if I could weigh in on this. There was any. So it sounds like Mike wasn't aware he was supposed to pay this stuff for 17 people. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds also directly that he and his girlfriend had no form of communication that this birthday bash would be a bash where everybody had to contribute. Now, let me tell you, it's clearly Jenna don't love Mike, and it's clearly Mike also wasn't seeing the red signs. Because even before this birthday, Mike would already had to see that Jenna was displaying a lot of red flags. And based on this video alone, you could probably tell that she is not the woman who is moving to aspiring in his dreams and his aspirations. So, this now come to blow up in Mike's face. We don't know what probably would have been the reason if our intention was to embarrass him. But, I'm still shocked you paid for her. If you putting me in that embarrassing situation, needing me to that, I will pay for myself and walk out. It shows that you don't care anything about me. You don't respect our relationship. To put me in an embarrassing situation like that, you don't even know if the man going through something, if he, because men have the up days, men have the down days. So even if the situation is, but before I say that, let me reach out the question out there, because the issues I can't see any comments on. I can't see where you all are streaming. Could anybody define to me the definition of a broke man? I would really love to know.
Well, a broke man is somebody who is not working anywhere. He's not financially, stable.
Well, at least that is what women does be saying now, eh? You understand? A broke man is a man that didn't really have anything, because I believe a man bringing something to a relationship is more than money and more than sex. You understand what I'm saying? There are other valuable things that can be brought to a relationship, and not chiming down the position as, a man not supposed to really financially contribute. But finances is not all. Finances is not all. A broke man to me.
I would say, in our community, especially what we call the Black community, the African American community, the African community, you can see that we are projecting all the wrong things. Let me say this to you. A man literally who is probably home and probably is not working doesn't definitely mean the man is broke. He doesn't have money. Having a broke mindset and being broke literally is not the same thing. A man who is financially not stable, he can be financially not stable. In Trinidad, yes, we love to use the word broke. But a man who is financially not stable, and I would say, when we talk about financial stability, I will say that there is probably not even 45% of our men in Trinidad and Tobago who are financially stable. Financial stability literally means that you are not dependent on a 9-to-5 job. You are not literally having to you are not in that working class that says you have to work till 65. So, I always hear these things, and I tell myself, we in our community, we are circulating the wrong terminologies. Issue could be that maybe George not working anywhere, but that don't mean George don't have goals. George probably could be a web developer. He could be a coding into coding development, and he could have been working on that project. And it's also seeing this. It also reminds me of the picture called acrimony. You remember the picture acrimony where this man sacrificed this man for a number of years, and then his project blew up because his battery finally take a hit, and then before you know it, it's in the millions dollars projection. We have the wrong mindset in around the world, where you believe if you don't have money today, you're broke. Broke is a man in his mindset who have no dreams, have no goals, have no aspirations. And let's face it, there are a lot of women out there who are dating these men. The man may have some money. He may have some money in his pocket, and he may be going to work every day. But if he's not a man who can say to you, well, you know what, 10 years, 15 years, babes, we have to aspire this, we have to aspire that, you know that that's a broke man. That is definitely a broke man. That is a man who is not going to lead you anywhere. And for the next 15 years, you're going to be the same place. But if it is you're dating a man and man going to work every day, and he might have this, he might have this, he might not have. And he might say, Jenna, here what going on, darling. You see 15 years from now, you see this renting, we get out of this renting. And then you realize money moving is saving to bribe brick and mortar, and then they put on a development. Next 5 years, they put on a development because you're building a house. That's not a broke man. That's a man with a goal and working towards a goal. So there's a serious difference that we have to educate our community on. do we really understand what is a broke man, or is it just a language that is just widely populating across social media?
I believe it's a
I,
language.
I see a change in domain because you change it from something physical to the mindset of a person, and I sure what has been driving an individual is the mind. But Candice, I mean, as a woman, I mean, I would like to know from your perspective what you think. What is a broke person? What do you think is a broke person?
Well, we in Trinidad will call a broke person a man who, you know, he's not he's not, you know, he don't really have much money. He's a scrub. You're working for small money. We will consider that as a broke man.
All right. I go take that. I go take. No, just now. I want to differentiate what people saying and what you said. So you say people does differentiate a broke man in this society to a man that do have money.
Yeah.
But what you say now, I want to hear what Candice Edwards say.
Well, Mr. Reniston and to the viewers, I would consider a broke man a lazy man. A man that, you know, wants to sit down on the block and don't want to do nothing with his life in terms of bettering himself. You know, you're just begging. Anybody you see you begging for 20, you're begging for $10, and you don't want to get up and look for something to do.
All right.
I would consider that person to be a broke man. Because you're broke, you ain't working nowhere.
No.
And if you're broke, you can't look to go on no date with no girls. Like it's this California who sing you're working, no, you're looking for.
You see, and I hear, Candice, I hear you, and I'll tell you again. This is the difference between communities, and as a person who have literally been around, I will tell you, I've seen women who have dated men and working nowhere. And I'll give you a typical story. I remember there was a story trending online where a woman who was a nurse, she was literally working 2 jobs, still dating a man who was in school. The man is actually studying to be a doctor. He have a job. He ain't working nowhere, going to school. 7 years they have been courting. They gotta go out, she pays for dates, they gotta do this, etc., etc. Now the man is a doctor, they are a married couple. She feels she is comfortable, she could rock back because she invested the time into that man. The courtship into that relationship was not about the money, and don't get me wrong, we do understand that with love comes security, and every woman wants security. So let me clarify that out there.
Just now, we have a caller on the line. Let me answer this call one time. Good evening, Mr. Sheldon Khan. Good evening.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon.
I love the guest you have on the top. I see you're getting more prominent personalities.
Oh, like Lyndon, like Lyndon.
Yes.
Right.
He's a person who well respected in the social media world. That is notwithstanding that Candice is not the most beautiful social media activist right now. But I would like to ask your well-educated guest their question. In fact, I would like to give him a scenario. So for the day of the holiday, a young lady was standing on Harris Promenade in Santa.
Just a Sheldon. Lyndon again?
I'm trying to hear him properly.
Tell him to speak up.
You can't speak up a little.
You don't hear me?
Nah, they ain't hearing you.
Right, hear them now. Go ahead.
Right, they say they hear you now.
Yeah. So for the holidays, 10 o'clock in the morning, a female was waiting on Harris Promenade in San Fernando. And she said a male person in her car stopped and tried to talk to her. She then informed him that she was hungry. He carried her to a restaurant. And after they went for drinks, and they ended up from San Fernando to Point Fortin Beach, where they drank. And sometime during that, she ended up waking up the following morning. As a person in social media and accustomed to the social conditions of Trinidad and Tobago, especially where unemployment is high, opportunity is low, you have a given amount of females on a daily basis who wake up not having an idea of how their day is going to end. So let them end up in bars. Renson could justify, because he has a friend, and there was a time we went to an establishment and there were several drunk females there. And I asked him, I say, do these women get drunk? He said, boy, sometimes he himself just have to drop them home. I also know of several women in my area with children, without children, who leave their children and spend their days in the bar. You know, there are several bars I pass and I see women hustling drinks on a daily basis. So I would just like to get his take on this emerging scenario in the public space, where females and a lot of males too, young and old, get up on a daily basis and spend their time either drinking their lives away or smoking their times away because they don't know what to do or how to change their circumstance. I will defer to your comment.
Okay. Well,
sounds like a scenario. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Lyndon, well, you have you hear the whole thing, right? What he's saying basically, there's something that emerging in society where, you know, people end up in bars, they're drinking, you know, they're stressful. So with this situation that women waking up in certain places that after they done drink and so forth, and what you think about this emergent circumstances that now existing within the public domain?
Well, you know, there are some things I didn't hear him mention in live because, I mean, you know, I'm not doubting that this is not happening. I will say that there's a society right now where somehow being at bars at 9 a.m. in the morning is a way for persons to distress. It's not about us going to any therapist to talk about our problems. And there are also a lot of broken persons in this society right now. They have no vision, they have no goals where they want to go, and it's happening. And I wouldn't lie that it's not happening. The part where you mentioned directly that, you know, these women will be waking up drunk or they don't know themselves. But that part there, I would really ask some more questions because I'm not too sure of knowing, you know.
You remember the most famous, one of the most famous social media artists, where she would have said she would have been seen in some pictures kissing up a man, and she would have said that she would have gotten drunk, and that was I forget what she name. I can't remember. She always saying all kind of nonsense on social media, and she was winding up things. She said she's somebody drugger.
Right. Day trip. No, of course, day trip is something prominent in society. It happens. So I'm not saying it's not happening. You know, I would say to you, and I like to make my contributions from an informed position. I am not knowledgeable of how many persons are currently experiencing date rape in Trinidad. You know, I remember one time there was an ad speaking about Rohypnol. It was one of the most popular date rape drug back in the day. I don't know.
And it still is. It still is.
It still is? Yeah. So I'm not aware of how many of these circumstances are currently happening in Trinidad. So I can say to you, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't put it past him that it's not happening. I think a lot of females also need to be very cautious as to where they are putting themselves, who they're putting themselves with, alert to it, and don't drink till you're drunk. If you even have to take one drink, two drink, you know, it's also a conversation I would love to see women having more of as to what they can do in the societies to be more cautious, especially where there is a international conversation right now that is saying that men are the predators to women. I was just having this conversation earlier on this week. So it is a conversation that is happening. I just think women also need to be more aware of their surroundings and who they're putting themselves with. If you're going out with a man that you don't know for the first time, I would say directly, even if you're going to take those chances, don't go in a place that you don't know. Know where you're going, have a plan to where you're going. Those are things that we should be, putting out there to the online community. Because really and truly, I wouldn't put it past the gentleman. It is happening, but I am not too aware of the rate that is happening at, where women are just getting up drunk all over the place and I don't know.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. Now, you would have mentioned a drug. Now, for the sake of the listening public, that is what we're talking about. That is the drug that you are seeing here currently on the screen. Now, it's one of the most it's one of the drug that is widely used by these
Right.
people who does do date rape. All they have to do is just put it in somebody's drink and it knock them out. That is what has take place. Now,
So we have no selling in Trinidad?
no, we don't have it, but it does come in. It does come in. Oh God, we borders open it. If guns could come in, if
You're right. Very right.
cocaine and thing could come in, I mean it could come in.
Right.
So we was talking about a subject where Candice was talking about, and we would have taken the initiative to dissect some of the issues that was there, and I was taking notes on it, and this was part of it here because I'm looking for the paper. I'm doing it old school. Now I am asking the question: why it is after these two people had the meal that they had, why is not till after she would have raised up in front of she friends and say you have to pay the bill? I mean, something like that. I mean, it didn't resonating well with me. I mean, and it appearing to be that person was trying to embarrass the man. That person was trying to, and I could reach so far to say that, probably she didn't like the person, or she didn't like him at all. And I mean, I find that highly disrespectful. I go, all I we eat, how much these bars and things. I mean, if you had to go by a real nice bar, it's about $400. Let me say somebody want to sit down and eat something good. A meal is something like one something, and if they had to drink something like a mudslide or a pina colada, all these things like sex on the beach and all them kind of thing. This thing could come up to a cool $500 per person, and it's 17 people. And I find that the mere fact that she jump up and say within the talk, I'm a real woman, a woman don't like a broke man. So she back him against a wall.
Right.
And when Candice would have sent the video for me concerning that whole situation, I mean, it was a little mind-boggling. And Candice, from a woman perspective, I mean, what you had to say about that, Candice? Because you would have done the research. What you had to say about that? I mean, in my position, what I telling you before I leave the floor.
Mm-hmm.
If that happened to me, I was leaving that woman. Or if I can't leave, she can't eat for about 6 months and buy no grocery now. I'm being real.
Well, Mr. Renison, and to the viewers, it's clearly that she did not communicate with him. This whole scenario looked like an eat-out scene. She wanted to celebrate her birthdays. her birthday story, and she wanted somebody to fit the bill. And the fact that this young man, Mike, was, look decent, and he looked like a probably, because she would have feel him out there, because they would have been talking on the phone. They probably went on one or two dates. They must have had, one or two little phone calls late in the night. So she was kind of, I believe she would have been prompting him for this, grand surprise occasion. So the fact that she never communicated with him and tell him, well, all right, it's my birthday and I'm going to have a lime and I'm going to have some friends over. And, I figured she should have made preparations as to who fit in the bill, how are we going to fit this bill. And she didn't do that. So it clearly shows there that she was just eating, trying to, as Trinidadians will say, eat out the man. Or use him to fit the bill. You understand? And I find that was wrong. That wasn't very nice at all. And I, as a woman, I wouldn't do that to a man, to be honest. Whether he has a good job, whether he has a well-paying job, or whatever job he has, I don't know the man's pocket. I do not know his income. I am going to stay within my means, right? And that what Jenna did there was very well wrong. That was very disrespectful, because she humiliated the guy, and in front of her 17 friends. You know how much friends? 17, She didn't invite like about 4 or 5, 17. You understand? And after they eat lavishly, ham, lamb, jam, steak, they must drink the best things. They must can't afford to buy for themselves. Because when
this woman does do man that, it has some woman, you see them drinking a little star, the little star and the little carib, but when you ask them if you want to drink the Heineken, yeah, son, the next one, we just call it spoon off. The what Caribe, you understand what I mean? And they say, you could bring a straw for me. You understand? So I can imagine how them be put on. Them be eating that they never eat in their life, thinking they never drink.
It has some of my girls, and them go be, they have in mind right now about no, but fear is fear. Fear is fear. You cannot do that to people. Jenna should have sit down with the guy. They could have come up with a plan, invite a few friends. It's 17 people, 17 people.
You see, the thing about it is, she didn't just embarrass the man, she embarrassed herself. That's a bigger issue. That you were willing to embarrass yourself for what? What you could have possibly get out of putting this man on glass? Because, I want to say that this woman knew and no way this man could have paid this bill. She had to know that from the beginning. She had to know. And to put yourself out there like that, where you didn't even consider this man, I would not even stay to give her what you call an explanation. If I realize that you not considering me and my financial position, that I have to pay for all your friends, 17 people, shows that you had an agenda. Yeah.
That's true. Watch well. Let me show you something. At that time, I have a partner on this side. Me and he real good. And I call him name. He that good. His name is Pollard. I just call him Mr. Pollard. Now he was going wrong a particular woman. Now he from the area Point 14. He didn't grow up there, but he grew up in central Trinidad. And he say, he was going wrong a woman, and a day she see him by a double stand, and she stop out and started pull a conversation. And he actually, well, a man does be, so he eating doubles, she asks him, he actually, a matter of fact, you want doubles? She say, yeah. Well, he looking at the factor that, she might have asked her about 2 or 3, probably 4 for the most. Because he say he does eat 3 doubles to the most. And she turned around and tell the man she want 9 doubles in it. She turned wrong and tell the man she won 9 doubles.
She alone can hit 9 doubles.
Now, now hear the thing about it, Candace. After that, he said he buy the doubles. And he decided to go up the road. Well, go home. He rented down on the side. So she living right around which party is. I know he gonna kill me for hear this. I know someone here that know this story, he gonna kill me because. But anyway, I don't talk it. She went home with him, Matafa. You know, around the time, and you know, he's that kind of man, so he take out that $300 and he give she. They ain't living together, but he rented on the own. And you know, she does smoke too. She does smoke. Amatafa, I never saw him smoke. He's a drinker, Amatafa. Now she tell him, well, you know, I want something to drink, and you know, I had to get him a cigarette. So he turned around and he asked she again, him now. Well, we were a half pack, she now, well, I could do 3 pack of cigarette. Say,
what?
Yeah, and I go take a half to go home. She tell them that she's a big woman. Oh God, she this thing does take place outside here in this society. And he come now and he sit down and he talking to me. He said, Jeffrey, because that was just called me. He's not on the side. He said, Jeffrey. He said, boy, I feel real embarrassed at that woman, boy. With this, I mean, come on. He said, I greed. That is greed. And it relate back to the same situation. So, Candace, when you tell me about this whole story today with this topic, you know, I'm saying, well, what is going on with some of these women and them? I mean, I could go into the real dark part of society. You know. A woman go tell a man come for a little loving. For the sake of the general public, a little leg a matter of fact. And when he go for this little leg, she saying she periods and she could do it at 400, 500. And I'm glad you're having this topic about Candace. I really want to know why some of these women has been doing them kind of thing.
Well, it's obviously these women and them. Some of these women, because not all women are like that. But you see, the women on that level, I will consider them to be hustlers. You're going out there and you're hustling for a piece of change. So in this instance, when this man went to this woman, how much doubles? 9 doubles.
9 doubles, Candace, 9 doubles.
She must be have about 4 more homes to feed. Because how women does do them thing, you know, they're going out there to hustle to carry back things home for the children to eat. You understand? So while she at it, I should tell the man she wore 4 doubles. 9 doubles. And how much 3 pack of cigarette and a half.
And a half. Well, that half a punch in it.
Well, she just throwing that for Lani up because she hustling. You understand?
Yeah, but Candace, if I give you 300, right? I give you 300, and that was about 8 years back. You understand? Still want 9 doubles. You understand? You go take a 3 pack of cigarette, and I have to go. Where is that? What is that? I mean, if you had a man going down on a regular basis, and he would have been giving she money, you know, every Friday, a matter of fact. Every time we get paid on a Friday, he gives you something. They're not living together. He cook for himself, he wash for himself, he do everything for himself. You know?
Well, then he gives you that bad habit because hustling is a business for some women. Hustling is a business for some women.
Let me share this. There was a I'm gonna say something and plenty people not going to agree with me on this. It was stated a man's currency is his money. Right. You are saying to you? It was stated that a man's currency is his money, and a woman's currency is what is between her legs.
Yes.
And we have to understand that this old trade today still exists. Let me share with you. There is a whopping statistics was done this year. It says 70% of women who are in happily married relationship, it was been found by the statistics that 70% of women in their mind already have an ideal person they see as a backup plan in the event that that relationship goes south.
And Lyndon, you know what it is called that? I'm glad we having this conversation. You know what it is called that? In psychology, monkey branching. Monkey branching. Now, a woman don't just leave a man and just be single in a most women. I don't want to downgrade woman. A woman don't just, most women wouldn't just leave a man and just be single. They swing, I don't want to say them thing, but most of the time they swing from one relationship to the next. This backup plan is something they have been cultivating for some months and some years. That is your replacement. Sometimes you complaining about a man. Hey, how this man only dropping here to work? This man, I find this man only giving you lunch. When is your birthday? The man giving you a present. That is your replacement you see in there. You know? That is the man that will replace you. So when she said, I know a woman that's be saying, hey, you're holding back a man wife, boy. And when I hear that talk, it is so repugnant. I turn around and tell myself, I say, what kind of talk is this that I hear in here, boy? A woman telling me that I holding back a next man wife. This, you see, women have a tendency, and this is facts here. When a woman say, hey, I love you, that is true, you know. That is a true statement, but it does be making. But we doesn't consider it doesn't end there. She love you now. She don't know down the line. It's different from when a man saying it. When I say it, I mean I love you entirely, forever. A woman does rather and prefer within the moment. And when a woman can make a statement that, you know, you're holding back a man wife, you're holding back a man wife, that shows the nature of the person.
No, stick up in there. Stick up in there.
Well, I want to hear what you want to say, Candace. I mean,
stick up in
there. Yeah.
Listen to me. No, it depends on the situation when that woman would have.
I want to hear a situation. Don't hide behind no statement on this program here tonight.
No, I'm not hiding.
Don't say it depends on a situation and then not explain it. What situation could you mean by depends on the situation? Don't hide behind that statement tonight.
No. What if
you'll get some shots tonight?
What if this man treating this woman unfairly? What if that man was treating that woman in such a way that making she feel unwanted and unloved, while she was doing everything in her power to please him? She washing, she cooking, she cleaning, and he's unappreciative.
So Candace, so what you saying then in general then? Because what I deducing from what you're saying just now is that it is okay for a woman to behave in a particular way if a man not treating she good. And and that is the thing about it, innit? You can't be sending that message outside there. Because if a man not treating a woman good at a particular time or a particular moment, there is no reason to be going on in that kind of way. So what are you saying then? A woman could go on the outside and sleep around. Because a man not operate. No. Well,
I didn't reach that.
Right. But sorry, let me mash my brakes. Let me mash my brakes a little bit.
You're getting more hot now. Mash your brakes. I didn't reach all of that. Mr. Renison, don't get my hot and bothered here tonight. You're mashing my toes. Now listen to me. It have some men they have a woman living in house and they do not appreciate her. Right? They tend to take everything she do for him, for granted. Because he know for a fact, well, probably, she's not working anywhere and she probably can't do better. He have a good woman, but yet still he taking her for granted. And there's where the woman will use the phrase in argument, don't hold back you're holding another man's wife hostage because she knows in her mind and in her heart that what she's doing for
Oh
him,
my
she's
God.
doing it to the best of
Oh,
her ability with love, and he taking it
oh
for
my
granted.
God.
And a woman like to feel love. A woman mouth is her strength is her mouth. So if a woman turn
Oh
and
my
tell a man,
God.
your man treated you bad, and you want love, you want affection, you want a little change to go in the Pennywise, you want things to yourself, and this man starting to lime and drink and spend all that money and leaving his house undone. If I was in that position, I would have tell him the same damn thing. Stop holding another man's wife hostage. And I said that without
Um,
apologies.
Oh my God.
we have a little disconnect.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you where we have in this disconnect. Candice, I hear what you're saying in terms of the situation. We have to recognize as well that a lot of the evolving relationships where women had to go out there and become independent, it would have been based on certain abusive factors in the home. Totally understand that. Here's the disconnect for me that I'm not understanding. How does a whopping 70% of happily married women can be able to have what you call an exit strategy with a person that they can see as a potential? This is what the studies is saying. Let me just.
There's only bullets to you tonight.
I want people to take minutes, want people to hear it for a moment, because that is the part that it don't make sense to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
Lyndon, I feel, I mean, we have to break down this a little more. What we are saying is that women have an exit strategy, meaning coming
Yes,
from the
I
relationship.
understand that.
No. I mean, just for the sake of the public as well too. How a woman could have an exit strategy and mean what you just say?
No, well, if the man playing the fool, and a woman, listen to me, a woman will know. We women, we have some private eyes, we just think, So if a man moving 100 with you, no, you can keep them shots, you can hold on to them shots. Hold on to them shots. As a woman, you must know if your man in this relationship head and head with you. Hand in hand, we're going down life's rugged road together. But as a woman, you just know when your man slipping. And a woman like me, I not taking no foolishness. So when I realize you playing the fool, you understand me? I mean to say, if Jack coming around and Jack doing what you not doing, no, I love my man, I will have Jack in my back of my mind as reserve because you create that. If you neglecting me, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a man, and Jack coming now, and Jack toting the water, Jack helping me wash the car, and Jack treating me how I want to be treated, and you horning me and playing the fool. What you expect? For me to remain there and say I love him still, and I want betterment?
But let me see. Let me break down your situation.
I believe we just stumble upon something.
If she's in that situation and you're saying that she is being horned, why are you still in the relationship?
Because they probably have children.
Why are you not taking the moral stand that needs to be taken and get out of the relationship? This is what I can't stand. Why stay in the relationship and then try to be in a relationship with a man and say, no, he's doing all the wrong things, but then you're still there and you're entertaining the other man outside. That part for me, I could never understand.
No, I myself can't understand it, but circumstances is what has caused a whole situation to be how it is until better could be done. So, Mr. Renison, you see you're in for the bacchanal tonight, a set for you. Go ahead and listen.
I believe that, we would have stumbled upon a point there that I don't feel you can get yourself out of this one, Candice, because, I mean, these exit strategies and these women and them that be having, one could ask themselves the question, does she really love me?
Yes, I love
Is she in this just for survival?
Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. I care about you. But does he really love me? Because if you love me, you wouldn't do me these things.
So Candice, so were you just telling me, is it possible for a woman?
Let me hear what the gentleman has to say.
Oh, all right. But I still haven't lined up your fear.
I don't know why this stuff not playing. I gotta turn on this phone. But listen, let me share this. If the situation is you are realizing there's a problem in a relationship, and you're saying here what happened, you've already started planning an exit strategy, then something in the relationship can't be right. But this study is clearly saying for the avenue that says a whopping percent of happily married women who are in relationships have found to have exit strategies, and already have identified persons that they would want to have a relationship with if given the chance that their relationship fails. So that literally tells me that probably that you would have gone into that marriage for an avenue of convenience. It can't be for the avenue of love. It can't be for
Not
the avenue.
necessarily. Not necessarily.
So let me see if I understand this. You and me have a great relationship. I have, according to what you're looking for in a man, you want a man who could cook, you want a man who could clean, you have good smell, cologne, or whatever your prerequisites are. I meet these prerequisites. We have decided to date. You have become a happy individual. And in everything that I am doing as an individual to make you happy, you as a woman sit down and decide, here what happening. I'm planning an exit strategy, and I'm gonna have an exit strategy with a man that you're happy with. No, you're not happy. Something have to be, there have to be a flaw in that
That's
relationship.
because that I believe, listen to me, I believe that is where in case because some of all the men does disappoint women. Listen to me, you see, in this time and time now, the majority of men not satisfied with what they have home. So if a woman decide to have a plan B, I would not vex with her. You could shoot me now, Mr. Renison. Because that's what all the man showing us.
Don't feel like I ain't gonna shoot you.
Wait. So, I determine good different from everybody else. I just have a different stand and a prerequisite for what good is. So what you're saying is, because we know that there are a lot of people who are in the relationships for wrong reasons. We know that for some people, relationship it's a contract, it's a negotiation and an understanding.
That business.
What you call bartering. It's a currency, it's bartering. I'm gonna do this for you and I'm gonna do that for you, right?
Yeah.
If the prerequisite says that you and I are in a relationship because I love you and with that love comes the biblical prerequisites. If I'm not meeting one of those prerequisites for a reason, then that relationship would mean that there will be things that in the relationship that have to be worked out. I would say that there is no perfect 100% marriage. Every marriage has their inner flaws, and in that inner flaws, married man and woman understand each other's perfection, and that makes the relationship perfect because you are now sharing a bond with a soulmate. But if you are telling me that as a woman, I'm bonding with you, but then in that bond, I'm making an alternative arrangement outside, it then means either one, you have come from a family of trauma, you have experienced trauma, and you're going into a relationship not really fully loving the man, especially if the man has no presented flaw. Because if there is no presented flaw, and I'm not saying in things you're not supposed to have a backup plan, not saying that. I'm saying if you're in a relationship and this relationship is a healthy, loving relationship, but you have a backup plan, especially where, and I'll give a real scenario. I walk into a room one day, Renaissance, hear me out there, right?
Yeah.
I walk into a room one day and I discover that in really looking for something, I realize you have a stash of secret money packed away for a rainy day. Whatever it is, whatever that reason is, that's a relationship that you and me don't know about. And that money that you have in for a rainy day, I have discovered this money. And I now come to you and say, Candice, here now, where this money coming from? What is this money for? Where you gonna tell me? Candice, go question to you.
I will tell you. What
Hey,
if
Candace, wait.
I have no other choice?
See what
The
watch
person
out.
I am, I will tell you the truth.
Just a
But
rest.
if you never find it, what you don't know, your heart wouldn't grieve you.
So in other words, what you're
Because
saying,
it's always, listen to me, wait. It's always good as a woman. It is always because of what we women would have been through in times gone by with you, some of the men. It is always good to have a little something hide away.
Candace,
No,
Candace, you're hedging,
what?
you're hedging, and you're running from the issue. You know why?
I ain't hedging at all.
You see, before you started talk, right? Why I
You
wanted to
find
have,
it okay?
why I wanted to talk Candace concerning this. I was in a situation like that. Me and my man going down. At the time I was 20 years, and she just called me a day and say, no, I was, helping out and doing plenty things. I used to give, I used to practically mind the woman. And a day she just come to me because she always seems staying on her money and she started work. So she come to me and tell me just so, I have $18,000. And I like, so wait now. All this time I struggling, you're making me buy I'm provide breakfast, dinner, and lunch here, your passage, a float, pay to go to work. I mean, something to pay in your pocket every single time. And you telling me, well, ends in meeting, and I believe this story. I feel hurt when that woman do me that. I feel emasculated because I feel like if my trust was broken because I was led to believe, I was really helping out a situation. You understand what I mean? I could have did better things with my money. Now, it's everything I'm buying for this woman. Everything. Every single thing. And then she come and tell me she have $18,000 and it, like, where this money come from? She tell me she have been saving that for quite a while. Well, look at that.
I want to ask Candace a question.
Can I say something?
Candace, you can say anything. I want to hear this, and I really want to.
No, hear me. If I'm in a relationship with someone and we're going down and it's fairness across the board, I don't see the need to hide from my partner. Because it's one-on-one, it's you and I going
Candace,
down
you was
together.
just saying different just now.
Wait, I am finished. But if you're on foolishness, and I know for a fact you're on stupidness, you leave me no choice, I must start to hide.
Candace,
because
mind you. Candace, you changed up this and my question. My question to you was, you are in a happily married relationship. In that, because in that, the only way I could know that you're happy is because I am making certain progress and conversations with you, and on that level, we have a proper level of real, open, honest communication. I come into my closet that where you and I are living together, and I discover that you have money put away. Now I'm now asking a question of which you said directly, if you discover the money, then you have to come clean. But what end know they have and go grieve. Now, by you literally saying that, you are saying to me that you are keeping secrets in a relationship where I have not wronged you, and I'm asking the question, how could that be a morally correct thing if you decided that some way you decide to stash money that could be your exit strategy? How am I as a man supposed to think coming into this conversation, and this is your response to me that says, well, what you end, what you end, they had anger, grief, etc., etc. Isn't that not going to lead me to believe that there are other things you are hiding in that marriage? How could that be a healthy, honest marriage? On your level, you have been deceived the whole time, where especially I have not wronged you. So at some level, it means that if either you are not happy, or you have an ulterior motive and a plan to exit the relationship after you come into this avenue of money. I mean, I'm just trying to understand.
Not necessarily. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and yes, it would make the man feel a certain type of way because he would have been dealing fairly with me, right?
All right.
But the way how I was raised, right? You're always supposed to have a little something hiding for the rainy days for yourself because you don't know what could happen.
Candice, let me share something to you. And
that is how I was raised up.
I always tell people this. If you and I are going into a relationship, there is no reason why you and I are supposed to be hiding anything. We're talking about open, honest, healthy conversation. And if you and I are going to be married, literally, as man and woman, then we should have already been doing a number of things. We should have already been discussing finances, how we're going to treat to the home. Are we going to rent for 3 years and then save? Are we going to have a joint relationship that says, yes, in this, because you working and I working, we're going to contribute this amount in this bank account. There is not supposed to be any reason a man and a woman is supposed to be hiding. The moment you have to start having secrets in your relationship, it means there is an underlying issue that is not addressed. And the moment that secret is found out, trust in that relationship is always going to be broken.
And yes, I agree with you. But then at the same time, you men, sometimes all it is, listen to me, that is from way back when women were taught to think like that, and that was instilled in me. No, I'm not saying
but
what you just said. That
what type of behavior is that? Conniving behavior.
That will raise that will raise some kind of suspicion in the man. It will make the man lose trust. It will be a break in communication. All that is truth. It's truth. I have to agree. But then again, I believe in having a little stash for myself that nobody knows but me. So whether you want to, it's either you want to deal with it or you don't want to deal with it, that's your business.
So
that is how I think.
So you giving a man an ultimatum for you being sneaky. So when a man catch you being sneaky, you giving a man an ultimatum.
That is not being sneaky. I don't consider that to be sneakiness. If I am working and you working for your money, I am sure you would have a stash that I don't know about too.
Candice, let me say
that. I will never do a thing like that.
Wait.
I will do a thing like that.
The person that this gentleman just talk about there, that person is 1 in a million. And if a woman should have a man like that, I mean to say, and he going by the book or they go along like rugged road, and he ain't showing her no signs of being unfaithful or unfair. But then I mean to say, you gotta go that road. But if you're in my instance, if you're living with somebody, and then again, I don't have to be living with nobody. What is mine is mine. I have a stash and it's my stash, and I don't.
You know what is more important about this conversation? So if what your stash is your stash, right? What about the man's stash? That belongs to you, or it belongs to him?
It belongs to him.
Right. So seeing that you answered that part of the question, so what you doing with your stash and what he should do with his stash? Then he should pay the bills and thing, and you should keep your stash.
No. That stash I have there probably is to put on a savings for rainy days. You don't know. That's out of that same stash you might go 4 tires, and you will say, "Oh God, girl." But you would have seen that before in old time days when your mother and father living in house. Your father saying, "I ain't have no money now." But girl real broke now. She come and she took her 500. And he and all want to know where you get that money from. She said, "Well, I had that saving there, and that money just come in handy."
Candice, what I just hear today, you just move the goalposts. You just move the goalposts.
I don't know if it is because it is in my line of work. I would literally say this. I think in our community we have a very, very poor communication where it comes to finances. If it is directly, I am going into a relationship with a woman, are you saying that in the stage where we are courting and we're talking about the avenue of engagement, are we saying that, hey, we're not discussing, you ain't gonna ask the man how much he does work for? You ain't gonna ask the man where you're working. You ain't gonna at some point the conversation will reach. Maybe you have insurance. You wouldn't want to really know these things as a woman going into a relationship. Because if you're talking about women want security, then I would want to believe that women are asking the questions, and I'll tell you this: we have often been pressured as men to bring about and change and evolve in our conversation, especially where they are saying now our women are independent, they are independent and they don't need us and they don't this, that, etc., etc. I would think that if you're going into a relationship with someone and you're talking about becoming one, a conjugal pair in marriage, there will be questions that you will sit down and discuss. So that if a woman has her own house and a man don't have, he renting, but he could control his finances. At some point, there is going to be a discussion. Whether or not are you going to directly come together and have and take out a second mortgage to have your own home and able to rent out that one. At some point, that conversation in a mature, healthy relationship is going to be done. But Candice, what you are saying there to me, and I want to tell you what you are transferring in the wider public, that here what happened in the old school days, women had to hide their stash because for rainy days. We way past that. Them days they're done. Women know now to directly, and if
you know how much rainy days, you know how much rainy days stash, you know how much rainy days stash help out some men. Eh?
Listen, I'm not saying no, no. Hear what I'm saying to you. I'm saying
all right,
those days are past. I'm saying that if you are talking about a healthy marriage, where we're talking about planning and financing, right? It means that if Candice goes tomorrow and take Jeffrey now, you're supposed to be having a good joint account where money is deposited into that account, because now you're talking about financing. Jeffrey will have money in his account and you will have money in your original account. We're talking about creating a family account where everything is going to be done in the avenue of having access to the arrangement of it. So my real question is it that we are not having those healthy conversations in our space in order for us to understand that, yeah, both men and women contributing. And that in the day that the woman literally can't make it today and something happens with her finances, the man could hold it down. And in the time that the man can't have it, he can't have it and he can't hold it down, the woman could hold it down. Is it that we are not this in our community and space, we are not having those healthy discussions? Or is
well,
it that?
Go ahead.
Or is it that here what happening? Me and you got in a relationship. I got my bank account and you got your bank account. And when the money come, I go come and ask you for money, or the man will give you money. And you know, at the end of everything, if things go south and I leave the marriage, my bank account still might be remain mine and yours just to remain yours. I just asking because I will confess I have a bias that I am disconnected from what the women today, what's their mindset today in going into what is called healthy relationship with men in order to be happily married. And maybe that's the question I should ask.
Well, let me tell you this, you see how society is today? You just start up good in a relationship, sweet and everything hunky-dory, and somewhere along the line, it just have a missing communication, that the woman start to be unfaithful or the man start to be unfaithful. Now, the relationship you would have talked about, well, you know, man and woman coming together and they're not hiding from each other, you know, all right. Some people will, when things going good, they will have a joint account, right? And both salaries going into that account and clashing, and, you know, we work as a team. But in this day and age where some of these men and women behaving real kind of shady, I wouldn't advise that. I would not advise that. What if I working for more money than him and all my salary going into there and boom, now we come and we separate?
So, wait.
And the man now is a very vindictive man. And he decided now to mess me up.
What do you mean he decided to mess you up? What do you mean?
Well, go in the account and withdraw all the money. Because, you know, let me tell you, people just think, I don't know which planet let me tell you something. You see what you're painting there, sir? I wish that could have been. No, we have people like that, honest and faithful and loving, and but I am yet to bounce up people like that. If I meet up somebody like that in a relationship like that,
So,
I ain't lying. I
so
will.
Candice, so
Go ahead.
and there was a relationship before Candice, and they had numerous
Do not
relationships
remember.
before. No, I don't want to bring a relationship, but I don't want to bring it on the street. But if you was in a relationship before, yes, no. I am not talking the specifics of a relationship. I don't know a relationship started, but I know you had children. I think it was in relationship before and so forth. Now, by you saying these kind of things now, it's stating that you was in a relationship and I didn't even have trust the person. So there is a dynamic
because
that is.
Of the actions,
Wait, I ain't
actions,
finished.
I had us to go into.
Candice, I ain't
a
finished.
different mode.
I ain't finished yet.
All right.
There is a cultural problem because what I am seeing here is what I mean. Lyndon would have been saying. What he's outlining is a cultural issue that we have around the world. It's not just you that think like that. It's a cultural problem that we have, where the culture train women to be in this kind of way. So you are saying that this is normal in all the statements that you are saying. What I am hearing is that you are saying that it is normal and there is normal behavior. This is normal behavior. So now,
that is
wait.
That is not normal. That is in case.
Wait, Candice, I ain't finished. Where woman is thinking like that. There is a next emerging culture that is existing in the world where men are so frightened of these women and them that they are doing things like prenup. They are doing prenup. So wait, Candice. So they are asking women before we end up in a relationship with you. I know you don't like me. Sign this prenup for we to marry. That is the next culture that emerging men are started to protect themselves against women. And that is a serious thing. And what are you thinking? You are thinking. You see, I see in the connection. Candice, wait. The connection would have started from his first statement in which you would have just made, where women have exit strategy. So let me go into it. If a woman have an exit strategy from the time she start a relationship, and she money is she own and he money is he own, the next part of the culture that would have rise up in relationship to these two things is men started tell women now, hey, before I marry you, I want prenup. I done. The floor is all yours, Candice. It's sad.
No, listen to me. Women start to equip themselves and prepare their mind. Because you're getting into a relationship, good with the man, you and he going down, everything hunky-dory, and then bam, you start to get a little bit. So, in other words, this woman have a plan B backup. I don't give her wrong. Because all your men don't need plan B backup. All they just look at them and say, I can eat a food day. And eventually all they start to court. And when they do the show, you have the wifey home, and then you have a how they call it? What do they call them? A side chick.
What? That the word does call them now?
Plan B.
Let me interject here. Candice, I hear what you say. Totally hear what you say. I totally understand the feedback. And you are right. There are some men out there who don't need a reason. There are a lot of men out there who can't keep it in their pants, and for some reason they go outside their marriage. Totally understand. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But then, if that's the situation, why are you staying in a relationship where a man has equally broken his vows? And I mean, it's not easy as that, because sometimes there are children involved. You know, you probably have business together, things are done, and it's not easy as that. So for the sake of mine, in some circumstances, you would want to work the relationship out. Working the relationship out would mean that there is therapy, etc., etc. And if those things don't work out, for whatever reason, I could understand you having an exit strategy if desperation calls for having so. So if you're going into a relationship where you realize that for all the right reasons. The person is doing all the right things for you, and then you come and you stumble upon this big secret that this person somehow have betrayed the marriage. In my humble opinion, I would always say, if it's something that you're not comfortable in staying, leave. Get a divorce, move to get things done, because the person have outrightly betrayed the relationship. And sometimes these things are not easy. But if there's a situation where you've gone into a relationship based on past trauma, and you've gone into the relationship with an exit strategy based on the trauma that you have, and you've already started putting the initiative in place, then outrightly you haven't given me a fair chance. You're just there for the avenue of the convenience until something literally happens, and then you activate. Then if I don't know to find that secret, then it means you have literally, outrightly came into the relationship with past baggage. And I have not been given that fair chance, because immediately after we are in the relationship, you have already started planning an exit strategy. How could that even be fair to me?
I wouldn't call that past baggage. I will call that moving with precaution. Until I'm not calling that past baggage at all. Because listen to me. If you are accustomed walking down a particular road, and every time you walk down that road, 10 dogs rush you.
Candace, that is past baggage, because you're talking about something from the past.
No.
But when you enter a relationship, it's something new.
I know. I'm not going to. I will be moving with precaution. I move with precaution. I'm sorry, because I've been there, done that.
Let me say this to you. Let me share this to you. You walking down the road and know that 10 there rushing you. You know what you know experience there?
Yeah. You will pass back down that same road. You will walk down that same road. Will you walk back down that same road?
Using your analogy.
You will try to run. You will try to fly. No.
And this day is not a brawler race here tonight, because
go ahead.
Candace,
go ahead.
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
If you're going down Murray Street, and you know the situation of Murray Street is, guys are always shooting you. No, listen to what I'm saying here. You know that on that street, guys are always shooting you. You would have no experience of unpleasant experience, because on that street, you know you've been harassed. I don't expect that people going down that street, you're not going to be prepared. I don't expect that you will not be prepared. But let me ask you the question. If you're going down White Lane have no dogs, and you realize that every time you go down White Lane, there is no dogs to interfere. What are you telling me directly? That you will have need to currently always go down White Lane with a weapon if you know White Lane has no dogs? No. Once you are aware of something, your behavior changes. If you are going into a relationship and you're saying it's preparation, yeah? And you are saying to a man, I'm going into a relationship because I love you and all that, you're being vulnerable with man every day, etc., etc. But for some reason, you decide that in that relationship, you enter the relationship with past trauma, and then you come and meet a healthy man who treats you in the same way, etc., etc. And you decide that here what's happening. You having an exit strategy just in case the man become abusive. You would have now entered a relationship. You would have now entered a relationship with baggage, and because of that baggage, it's now causing you to do things in the relationship where Peter would have never done. If Peter becomes the man and helps you to get over this hurt, because Reina directly was a man you always like to hit, and Peter comes in and starts showing you what the proper avenue of love is. And where Reina was not doing certain things, Peter started doing. And he would have been exhibiting that patience and the understanding. You telling me when you go into that relationship, you're going into that relationship preparing for the things that Peter may never do to you based on what Reina have done to you in the past? You're going into a relationship with baggage. If I, as a man, come to find out that I got you in your past, if that, and
You
you know, and I say, you know, you have that, you have a, you know, first thing I want to ask you is it that you don't trust me? What's the reason for your exit strategy? I would have to ask these questions because I would now have to find out from you now. Hey, what's the reason for doing this? Did I do something wrong? Is there something you're not confident about? I mean, a good man will do that. Now, if a man come and he said, why are you doing that? This, that. No, I could understand because there is something in the spirit now we realize that the man have some tendencies that cause him to do that. If the man is not happy.
Mr. Mark, you know it have good pretenders. It have men. You would explain to them all what you would have been through. Right? And they still see it fit to put you back through the same thing again. But that is how I just think. Now, I would have been through certain things. I'm not going to bring it out here on this platform. And I never give up on love. I always tell myself I will find the right person. Right? And before I get into the relationship, I would have bring out all my skeletons from the closet. And in my mind, I'm saying, here we're going. This is a fresh start. This is a fresh start. And then now, I'm being honest.
Right.
I will be looking for signs because men nowadays just tell you one thing and they mean a difference. And then you will start to realize certain patterns, certain changes in that certain individual. And even if I notice it, I still have my guard up because I don't know what you're going to do me in the long run. So I will have my guard up. So whether you call it baggage, whether you call it Gucci bag, whether you call it whatever, I am going to have my guard up.
All right.
I will not treat you bad. I will not treat you bad. I will not treat you less of a person. I'll give you a fair chance. But once bitten, twice shy, and I'm very sorry. I said that with no apologies. I am not going to go down that road. Because men just come to you and they just show you the straight line that they will do this and they will do that. And just right when you decide to let loose and trust them, they pull the rug from underneath you. So you have to have a backup plan. I'm sorry.
Now, Candice, I hear you speaking, right? And the reason why I'm not attacking you personally, you know.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No, I am attacking
but it's all right.
I am attacking the psyche, the whole construct is a philosophy that you are speaking. Now, you would have said something in your whole conversation there. Give a man a fair chance, but yet still you're carrying a wrong baggage. No, that is an oxymoron. You can't give a fair chance.
That is in case.
I give you a chance. I give you a chance, Candice.
Nowadays, all your men nowadays have set the pace for that.
Candice,
so noise. Women turn around now and started doing what all they was doing. No one vex. No one
Candice, I understand this trick very well.
Woman bad and woman bad. No.
Candice, you're trying to jungle the talk. You're trying to jungle the talk. Let me deal with this thing logically. There's a person saying that you want to give somebody a fair chance, but yet still you're going with baggage from the past. And if
I will consider that to be baggage.
And if John do it, no, wait, Candice.
Consider that to be in case.
Right. If John do you something, John do you something and you're with Peter now, wait, let me finish. If John do you something and you're with Peter now, you mustn't pay for what John do.
You're making me forget.
Candice, you're trying to jungle the talk and you railroad the talk.
What if
Peter do you something?
Listen to me.
You understand? You can't take it out on John.
Okay, let me say one thing. All right, what if I come into this relationship with you, right? And I decide to give it my all, 100%. I let down my guard, I put on my baggage, right? And we're going down life rugged road. No secrets. We're communicating, we're reasoning. And you decide now, under the belt, to hit me a blow. What am I to do?
What kind of blow? Define that before I answer my question. Answer here.
Because all of a sudden, you start to hide from me. You start to cheat on me. You start to not come home. All the things, all the crafty thing you men just do when they have a little side chick on the side. Or they decide, or they don't want that relationship no more. Because a woman don't have to give all your reason to horn or to cheat or start to lie. You know? You understand? So what if I, as a gentleman say, all hands on deck, no lies, you put on the baggage. No baggages. And I let loose now and I decide to trust you and allow you, the man, to lead, and I will follow and be humble and loving and understanding. And you pull the rug from under my foot. What do you want me to do?
Well,
What is my position?
well, with respect to our guests, I'm not hungry to take over every conversation whilst it is not falling in my path. So, I will defer to Lyndon Mac, and then I will continue. I'm not hungry to hush up everybody that's speaking here on this panel.
I don't care. You can say what.
I listen to your situation and let me answer directly. Now, if a man decides tomorrow, and I will tell you this, one of the biggest things in love is the one thing you cannot predict in what we call the word love is free choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the biggest gambles out. And Candice, I hear you saying that, that men manipulate, men will manipulate the conversation, they are good pretenders. Or that was the word, they are good pretenders.
Yeah.
And I will always say to you that a lot of people literally don't have that eye of discernment. So when we talk about the moral guide for the book of love, everybody not practicing that moral principle.
Mm-hmm.
Many persons want what is called love, but they are not spiritually connected to that same author or that book that gives the guidelines to what that love thing is. So, yeah, I will say this to you very honestly. If something like this really happens to you, of course, it will have you questioning yourself. It will have you directly despondent because someone now betrayed your trust again, right? And the hardest thing that you could be able to do, you will always be able to control what you could control within your space. Something that you will never be able to do is control another person's emotions and their actions. If a person really goes out after putting you through all the good things and then decide to go out there and cheat, then I could understand you now having a reason, a justifiable reason for doing what you now need to do because self-preservation always comes in. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to pacify that situation. And then it will also mean, again, this man decides to go out there, make a decision and break your trust. So it will now cause you to have to get things done. That there means there is reason. There is reason for it. As he come out and he pull the rug all on your wall and you come and find out. That's the reason. What I'm asking here is, and what we have been addressing by saying, if there have been no reason where I am being founded, I have been found in a fault, and you have already decided within the relationship that I am not getting the fair chance, that you're saying me going down until we lie down, but in the first day that things start to happen and you and I start to transfer the avenue of currency in that relationship, you have decided from day one I'm putting down my stash money. It means that I would never had a fair chance from day one. You never trusted me from day one because you came into a relationship with trauma that you have not really fully healed. Or let's say that you have healed, you have so-called learned certain things, but I'm going in that relationship and I'm preparing myself for exit strategy. I'm telling you, any person who have never been found in a fault coming to realize that for 5 years you stashing money to plan an exit strategy for a day that may never happen, it means you have been keeping secrets from your husband. And one thing I've learned about anything in this society that deals with secrets always have a way of coming out. It means you will have been betraying our relationship from day one, especially where you have found no just cause for me party who have never treated you in that way that someone treated you in your past.
And I'm not saying what the person would have done is right. Right? As you say, the person going down, going to tear the person, they have no fault, they have no reason to do that. That is them. But for me, no.
Let me ask the next question. Would you tell the man in the beginning that, you know something, a community relationship with you and I love you, but I got plan my exit strategy and I got put on a secret stash? Would you tell the man in the beginning?
No, but would he come in the relationship with me and tell me, well, baby, I love you, but I had 3 women on this side?
No, he will not. What I'm saying is directly, you're talking about a good man. Definition of society is good is not the definition of the highest standard of high value quality individual that will treat you according to the biblical standards of what we call love. And this is the lack in society. Everybody wants the genuine biblical standard of love, but everybody do want the avenue of the altar of the source. And this is always the problem in our society. And I will always say, this is why I will always tell men, anytime you are a man and you need the woman, have to say, I'm the head of the home and I'm the head of the home. You are not the head of the home. It literally means that you are not connected to the head. We as men are called to be submissive to our wives, the same way we expect wives to be submissive. And the moment we understand that women are nurturers, men who understand that and are called to the greater responsibility will always lead through submission. So that if I am directly planting a seed because I want you to be able to give me back the level of respect, then I will give you the avenue of respect that I want back in return. But if I have to literally say, I'm a good man, but I keep you down, then I have a level of prejudice, because I'm not giving her the level of respect, and I don't continue going on that boast and say, I'm the man, the woman, the man, but you're not connected to the man. That is how abuse has been in a lot of these relationships. That is how we realize that a lot of the church fails many times, why women have to leave and come out of a relationship with husbands, because pastors have literally failed to address a lot of these things in the marital home. So, as I said, if the love don't have trust, and what we're talking here on that syllable is trust. If you don't have trust in this person, then you don't love this person. You're doing it for convenience. Trust is built over a space of time. It's built over the space of proper, honest communication. Without trusting the and there are things they're going to do in that relation. No, I've been honest with you, because we don't ever have these conversations. I will always say, when you hear these conversations among African American women or African descendants, first thing I will always say, there's always have been a system that was set up by grand design for us to never get ahead. I will always say that because it has been proven. Mm-hmm. And if we can't be able to correct that because we can't instill the good values, then yes, a lot of you are going to run around with your baggage and say, I'm no good man, I've got plan the exit strategy, man this, man that. And the issue is, why should I have to pay for someone else's past? I'm directly meeting you the first and I'm realizing that you seem to have good qualities. Why should I have to pay for what John and Matthew and Harry do to you in the past?
And Lyndon, to add to what you're saying there, now there's a school of thought that would have came from a guy in which you call Eckhart Tolle. He would have write a lot about the new earth and them kind of thing, and he would have talked specifically about what we call the pain body. Now, seeing that you have so much of triggers that would have taken place, traumas, as a matter of fact, that would have created triggers in your past life, your relationship, a matter of fact. What has happened? It creates these triggers within you, and you now able to identify the same trauma and pain within another person, and it attract one another. So they call it this pain body. Now, I was trying to explain this to a particular gentleman the other day when I talk about, hey, you see that house full of women and they don't have no man. Understand what going to take place. It's a kind of reinforcing philosophy that started to take place in the house, where I just call nesting. So the minute you have a man and use a woman in that house, the rest of the women go start to say, you're going back again, you ain't learn. And the minute something take place, they say, you see what I'm saying? So they start to grow on one another like a kind of, they start to have this kind of a kind of relationship amongst one another. So they're able to recognize these pain bodies. So when a woman enter in a relationship with a man, and she would have went through these type of trauma from in the past. Now, the minute the man do something that could trigger off one of these triggers, and them, a matter of fact, in her, a line of thinking does come after that. So she would have understand that in her past relationship that this man do this, and this is the line that she would have taken. So it trigger off these things like dynamite going right down. Well, I had to start to hide. I had to start to pass side mustache. I had to start to stop thinking. I had to start to watch her phone. Because she would have seen something that, the pain body inside of her would have identified within in the man. And it don't have to be so. Sometimes it could be a random event. The man may have just, in call you today because, he was a little busy. But it started trigger off this chain reaction within the woman itself. So she started take this type of initiative. So it's very easy. And for anybody that don't know what a trigger is, let me say you going down the road and you would have gotten into an accident. And a man would have started give you a bad drive before the accident. What that create when you end up in that accident that day, it would have create a trigger. So let me say you're going down the road and you see a man start to dance and swerve in the road, your mind immediately run on the accident that would have taken place probably a year or two before. And in relationship, when men start to operate funny and women and the brain start to identify a particular pattern, they start to operate within a particular way. Now, plenty of the men and women outside there need counseling. They need counseling when they come out of a relationship. So, let me say the worst thing that you could do to yourself as a man or a woman is that when you come out of a relationship, you jump back into the next one. And I would have just said, and I could stand by that statement, a lot of women just monkey branch into our next relationship. As you would have said, you would have called it exit strategy. It's the same thing. They go from one to the next, and they do not set a deep introspection so they could come out on the other side now and say, well, yeah, what's going on? We had to start to do things in this particular way. My mother teach me this, my mother teach me that. And they are not going into a relationship wholly and solely. So it's difficult when you have society reinforcing on one side and you may have a parent reinforcing on the next side, and you're seeing movies and things on TV saying the same thing. What you will expect. That is why I would have said that men these days, plenty of the men, these high society men and them, does, from the time they decide to marry, they tell the woman, here what's going on, I want a prenup. Because of all these things that is taking place. It's very serious. It's very, very, very serious out there. And can't say no. I mean, I would like to hear it totally. As I say, I'm not greedy to hold the floor or interrupt anybody when they are speaking. Candace, the floor is all yours.
Well, to be honest, the prenuptial agreement, I agree with it. Because, again, you don't know what is some people's intentions. And the prenuptial agreement should be on both sides. Right? So, at the end of the day, I still say that we don't know what the future holds. We cannot predict nothing. And that's just me. I just move with precaution. But yes, we might, as you say, when you use the word you just used there, like when you're done with, when you and somebody just separate and you're going into another relationship. Yes, I must admit, some of us don't really take time to heal or to, to find ourselves or get a little counseling, depending on the situation that you was in and you come out of, right? I would agree. Yes, you need to take your time. You need to get counseling, because that bad past experience, you would tend to carry it over into, if you get something new, you would tend to carry it over there, right? And in a sense, it would be giving that person a fair chance. I understand all of that, but that is just my way. I just move with precaution, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to change.
Before we go on with the topic, I want to tell the listening public The numbers to call on the screen is right here. I mean, it's 333-2176.
Yeah, somebody was now asking if they could if to call in, if there's a number to call in. Who was the
Yes, you
person?
could call in. And Candice, I find you're in dealing with the our guests and the I mean
No,
our viewers,
he was.
our viewers in the comments. You know, you want to defend it so much that you're forgetting
I
about
ain't
our
defending
sweet
nothing.
guests.
I put my foot down. I mean, was everybody have their own their own opinion, and I just voice mine. It mightn't be right for some people. It might be wrong for some people. It might be right, but that is just me, Mr. Renison. All
So,
right. So
Candice, listening to your points, I hear what you're saying. In a broader spectrum, what you are saying to me is, no man again will have a fair chance with you. You have already made your stance based on things that you have been in the past or what you have been experienced in the past, and that means no man in the future is going to have that fair chance because of what
I would not say no man will have a fair chance, but that man has to come good.
What you are saying,
he has to come good. He has to come good. I disagree with that. He has to come good.
You can't have it both ways.
He
You
has
just
to
said
come good.
that
So,
you're not.
so Candice, that man had to jump over some heavy high barriers, girl.
You said
He
you're
has to
going.
come good because I know my words. Listen to me, hear me. I know my words. I know myself. Right? If I'm going down, I'm going down 100. And yes, because of bad past experiences, I put up my tall wall with my barriers and my barbed wire and everything. So whoever that's coming in, they had to come good or don't come at all. I'm very sorry.
Right, and I understand. Listen, hear what I'm saying to you. I understand having the defense barriers up. What we are talking about here now is someone saying, I see you, I like your girl, and I want to have a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, that person is going to have to work in order to win your trust, win your confidence.
I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing me? Everybody hearing me?
Yes, I hear you. I know. I don't know what take place.
No, my Wi-Fi was saying stay or something. Yeah, go ahead.
Before somebody Nadira want to know if you're married.
No, I'm not Nadira.
So in other words, what you're saying is in that defense mechanism, at some point, that person is going to have to work to build a trust. And in that trust, that person is going to have a lot of conversations with you. Candice, what were your experiences in your first 20 years? And it will start at some point where you will have to then break down your barrier to open up to a man. This is what trust in a relationship is. It's communication. And if you don't tell me certain things in that past of yours, then I would never know. When we talk about, and now I need to correct on this thing called trigger. When we talk about this thing about trigger responses, you can trigger a memory. Certain things can happen. You might be walking on the road today and you have a smell. That smell might trigger your memory, could carry you back to your mother making the oven bread, etc., etc. You could trigger a memory. But when we talk about triggers to trigger response, that's a more psychological, permanent damage, whereby if you have been triggered to act a particular way, we see in the movies that, some person wake up and before you know it, they are a trained killer because they would have learned a certain amount of responses. Certain triggers can activate. This is very real psychological theory. It has been proven from World War II. So I'm saying is the trigger will not be the same. Triggers also have activation. And what I'm saying to you, Candice, is if you have gone into a relationship whereby you have decided that even if I lay down the bar and I tell you certain things, I'm not telling you that I have an exit strategy. It means that you have not fully trusted the person. Trust don't just happen overnight. It happens over a period of time. You as a woman have to be learning your partner. And I tell people, there is no way you are in a conversation. You're talking to this man ever so often. You're being in this person's space ever so often, and you are not learning the behaviors of this person. Something literally is wrong. Something
It has
is
some
off.
good undercover. Sir, there are some good undercover men.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Uh,
One of the greatest thing in this too is this love word is what we call consistency. Everybody have 24 hours in the day. Let me tell you what makes you all women most powerful in your feminine energy than man. You see the women who are emotionally connected and they realize that something off, and your what all of us call the sixth sense of the woman's intuition would allow you to say something off about a man. This man has always, if he ain't coming home 10:30, something happening, he ain't coming home, you come home an hour late, you come home 2 hours late, something, and you realize that regular behavior, it got trigger you. It will trigger your sixth sense as a woman because you started learning the man. But if you tell me you caught in a man 6 months, 12 months, a year, 3 years, then you come and get married to a man and then you come and tell me, oh, the man just changed overnight. Let me tell you something. I just tell people, don't sell me that BS. That is you not taking the time to observe, watch your man, observe your man, etc., etc. The same way as men, we are supposed to be learning our women. You can't tell me at the end of the day, you don't even know your woman's favorite flower. You're dating she 6 months, 12 months. An outside man come and have 2, 3, 4, 5 relationship. I know, oh, she loves orchids. Or yeah.
I can say something. No, I was just suggesting, right? You just give counseling and classes because it have a lot of men would love to hear this.
No, forget that. My days for wanting to be a Dr. Phil or wanting to be the next psychologist.
No, because you have a lot of information that you could depart onto some of these men and them.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And as I said, I told Renison at one point in time, yes, we need to have the forum where men can hear these things. We also need the forum where women can hear these things. It is something that is seriously needed in Trinidad, I believe. But where it comes to the avenue of conversation, courtship, and dating, you are supposed to be learning your partner. There is a toxic trait out there, and going back to this conversation where with this video circulating of this man and this woman, there are things men will be prepared to do for you today. Good men will be prepared to do for you today. You might be down and they might help you up, and they might help you up, and they might want nothing back from you in return. Good men we're talking about. Not the men who will utilize the money and try to directly con you into a behavior and then try to show you a time in order for you to give them back a currency. That's men who directly display a measure of abuse. You need to be careful of that. The love bombing is also another thing, but as I said.
Look, somebody Nadira in the comments said that she think you should do counseling because you're very good at that. And a lot of people agreed.
Compliment and all the people who agree. I've been very honest with you. I don't have the patience to listen to everybody's problems as I was 10 years ago. And I'll tell you the reason why. The system in Trinidad and Tobago does not have it. If someone needs sponsorship, and when I talk about sponsor, being a sponsor is even a language that does not exist in Trinidad. Especially where we see a lot of domestic violence happening against women, we see a lot of domestic violence going against men. The system does not seriously provide for it. If I have to do something like that, monetary compensation has to be. If it's not that, I'm not wasting my time.
Okay.
As women will say, men don't get paid on please and thank you. We have to be out there paying our bills. We have to do X, Y, Z. We have to be providers of our work. So thank you to all the great commenters who believe that way. I don't honestly don't have patience with.
They're strongly endorsing it.
And you know the part I see where Kathleen Ashby would have said if you can't add value as an individual in a relationship, it makes no sense. If you can't add value in a relationship, it will make no sense. Let me put
the Kathleen's point. And I think this is the Kathleen made a great point. Let me ask the question by reinforcing that point. What is adding value to the relationship from a woman's point? Because I want to tell you one of the things I have seen in this community. A lot of men don't listen to understand. This is one of our biggest flaws in not just Trinidad and Tobago, it's a worldwide problem. When women are talking about adding value in the relationship for them from a man, what are they speaking about? I would love to know. Please don't tell me money. Money is one part of it. When we're talking about adding value, what do you mean from a woman?
Candice, I believe you should answer that one as a woman. I mean,
No, I didn't hear, even though it was the network was coming in and out.
no, what
does adding value, based on Kathleen's point, what does adding value from a woman's point? Kathleen is saying, if you're not adding value to the relationship, you're not making sense, and I totally endorse that point. I'm asking you and the women out there, even for the men listening, when you speak about the avenue of value, not monetary compensation or monetary, what does value mean? Adding value mean in the relationship as a woman who is looking from a man's point to add that value in the relationship. What does that mean?
Well, you're showing the man that you care, you're being honest, you're being faithful, you're being submissive.
No. The man has to add value to your relationship. What does that mean to you?
Well, he has to show you a sense of security.
Security meaning what exactly?
Not money. Well, money, yes, but he created a comfort zone for you, that no room for you to question his motives, and everything would just be like a togetherness. We were moving with one accord.
Right. Super fantastic. Totally agree. And that transfers to the emotional security, whereby the man is trustworthy, he's honest, he's adding value to the relationship, because after you start learning the man, and I tell women like this, if a man tell you come at 6 o'clock and you realize that his action says he will always be late, then automatically you will know something that he always accustomed being late. But then if you realize that here's something, this man is a punctual man, you're always punctual, something off, you realize 10, 15 minutes past, this man contact you, you know something off, because you know something, the man sitting at by telling her that his value and his word literally means, I'm a man, I like to be on time. It means if I tell you 6, 6 means 6. But then if the situation is we early and we realize here what's happening, if I tell you 6 and I realize you ain't gonna be ready for 6, you're gonna take you a whole 45 minutes again for you to be ready, then I ain't gonna come on 6 because we know that you ain't gonna be ready, because there is a prognosis that says women just take longer to get dressed and ready for men, especially when they want to put in their appearance. So I'm just saying that when we come to value, you have to look at the currency factor. The currency factor is not always money, because I will tell people out there, I've been privy to certain things, and I want to tell women out there, if you're looking for the man to provide you the financial stability, let me say this to you. Some of you will find the men out there looking for you and they have the money. Just know directly, the financial stability that you are looking for, you'll be able to give him the money, but the emotional connection that you're looking for him, he will not be able to give it to you and you only, because he'll be out there giving it to Sheena, Emily, Cassandra, because he is the man out there who have the money, but emotionally he is not intertwined with you and connected with you on that level to say, I want to be solely exclusive with you. So women have to be very careful out here, even when you're saying, I want a man who will bring money to the table. There are plenty of men that bring money to the table, but they will also bring the narcissistic ways. They will also bring the mental unstable ways. They will want to control. I don't think a lot, especially here, I don't think a lot of women know what they're really asking for when they're just saying, I want a man who could just bring the financial stability. I don't think people really know what they're in for, especially for a man who have his things.
Let me interrupt you there, Lyndon. No, just to speak out concerning some of the comments that we are hearing, because we getting some valuable comments. They say somebody, CKS would have said, if you are not married, don't get married. If you are married, don't get divorced. He said he heard this one in a morning talk show program. You know, so and Darrow would have said, if you and your wife / husband are not the best of friends, it will never work. I mean, and you know, the last comment, the latter comment, I would have think that, you know, if you and your wife or your husband is not good friends, it will never work. Now, I would have said some. Just I would like to hear comments on it, but me and somebody would have had a conversation as of recently again, and I would have said this. What I would have learned from, you know, from reading a matter of fact, that there's only three things really and truly you could get from a relationship. I mean, sex, children, and domestic companionship. That is, and sex and children is a given once you would have started off or initiated a relationship. Domestic companionship is that communication that you have when sex and children are no longer a part, really a big item of the relationship. So what I would have said is that on my initial stage in a relationship, I does cultivate this domestic companionship between I and the individual. I go have a lot of conversation with them. I would have tried to understand, you know, their points of perspective, to know how far I could reach, what they're thinking, how far they are going, how far I could stretch them. I mean, how far we could go, a matter of fact, with certain talks. What are your insecurities? What are your securities? What you're weak in? What you're not weak in? And this is what has been probing from the initial stages. Now, plenty of the time does try to, well, women, a matter of fact, when the hormones are high, does try to force the sexual part. And the reason why it doesn't really go down that kind of line with them in the initial stage, I know about what we call the halo effect. I mean, when they started to know somebody, the brains don't know how to differentiate between love and starting to know somebody to a particular degree. Once you started to know somebody or know something, I mean, know about something, your brain does start to put it alongside love, so it does start to feel like if you love it. So it needs a time to fizzle out for you to put certain things in the perspective. So not to stray from the point too far.
Just understand. Let me put you into some serious perspectives. Number one, I want to address your comments, and I'll tell you why that statement you're making there. We have to make sure I correct this thing properly. Now, first we have to recognize in our community, one size blanket don't ever fit all. If a woman says, here's the situation, there's a conversation now amongst women where they are saying, hey, 18 to 25, 25 to 30, I'm choosing myself, I'm going to school, I'm going to become emotionally, financially stable, and you're choosing you, I'm saying yes. Go ahead and get it done. If you decide that, you know what, you decide that you want to be a married person early, you want to have kids early, so in the later stage of your life, you don't worry about children, and that's your choice, fine. So one stage don't always fit all. So people will say, you know what, don't get married. Let me share something with you. There's a very popular guy on the whole entire world knows. You know what he said? A man and a woman can't be friends. Who made that statement? Who made that statement?
I know who make that statement, but I have that opinion too. I don't feel like that.
A man and a woman are supposed to be best friends.
No. There was a popular talk show host, ex-comedian. He came out and told the world when he wrote his book, and he was advocating and teaching women about the 90-day rule. He said that a man and a woman can't be friends. If a man directly swooping around you and he's, you know, women are like fishes and he's swooping around, he can't be a friend. And a lot of women took about it. Now, what we have on these apps, there's a psychological term called projecting. Men and women who are projecting their insecurities to other people. So let me just share this. Of course, men and women can be great friends. The best successful relationships are the ones where husband and wives are friends. They have that level of communication. Tomorrow that relationship ends for whatever mutual reason, which is probably highly unlikely. Friendship is where the border of the relationship starts. Anybody who are out there telling you that a man and a woman can't be friends out there, that's insecurities being projected. We have to understand in our society, in order for you and me, Candice, for us to be closer, it has to start at the level of friendship. But people fail to realize that friendship is not sex. The moment directly sex gets involved in that relationship, then you now have to sit down and discuss this avenue of a relationship, because you and me have now crossed the borders beyond what that friendship is supposed to be. Now, if a man like Kenny say, yeah, they're not like Kenny, there are men out there who do all the things, because men, we are hunters. But there's a society that failing to understand women out there are hunters as well. But you see, we have a toxic thing in this society that men are out there doing this, but women out there are not doing this. If you go in the African jungle right now, you will realize where the male lion is not there, the female lioness is out there hunting the same way. She has to feed her cubs. So if we can learn that from the animal kingdom, I'm sure there are women out there who can say, yeah, I see, I like you, let me carry you out. You look good. It might not happen always in Trinidad. I don't, and I might be putting my foot in my mouth here. I don't always see the conversation in Trinidad where women will say, hey, I see, I like and I want to carry out. Even when we are saying, something, equality is on the table. And I want to have that, when women want to have the same level of paying jobs. Let me ask you, Candice, tomorrow. Will you carry out a man if you see a man like him? And don't give me a politically honest question. If you see a man tomorrow and you like him, when you say, hey, I like you, look good, we can go out. Would you directly do that?
No, I will not.
Why?
Because it's not the woman. The man supposed to do that, not the woman.
Oh.
I figure I will look desperate. I will tell the man will look at me as if I'm desperate. Like if I had a man.
So if a man directly comes and say, Candice, you look lovely. I love the way your golden hair looks. Can I carry you out? Is the man being desperate as well?
No, he's not. He sees something he likes and he wants to go behind it. But listen to me. You see,
I have easily identified one of our society's social flaws, especially in Trinidad. Courting is not about which sex does it. It's if women are saying, you want equality, and you want to be able to have the same level of paying jobs. Then if the situation is you see a guy, you like a guy, and women know what they will do to be attractive to a guy, etc., etc. There is nothing wrong in that. We have to realize that it's not desperate if you see a guy and you like a guy and you compliment a guy. If a man says, I like you, it's not desperation. It's about giving compliments. It's about saying, hey, there might be the possibility I might like to carry out today. If we don't have these healthy conversations in our community, women will always be stuck with your mindset in the past, thinking, hey, it's desperation, I ain't gonna carry it out. But I sure you want to have the same paying job as a man. Not so, Candice?
Yeah.
I sure you would like to be able to do the same avenue of job spec that a man will do. Not so?
Yeah.
Because we call it equality.
Yeah.
So let me ask the question: is equality now partially biased? Is it now favoring women, or is it not to some point and not favoring men to some point? Or are we having the conversation of equality where it could be equal for both parties on both sides?
Well, it could be equal for both parties on each side.
So then women should have no problem tomorrow if you see a guy and say, hey, darling, you look lovely today. Even if it means you don't have to do so.
There are women doing it. There are women that is doing it. Because I would have seen her. Yes. I would have seen her. Yeah. I would have seen. No, honestly, hear me.
I don't think so, Candice. I don't think so.
Oh, God. Why are you so? I would have seen a video on TikTok where a woman kneel down and in Trinidad and ask a man to marry her.
In Trinidad?
In Trinidad, I saw it.
Hey, that woman was a piper. Let you don't go down that road. She was a piper. No, you don't go down that road. That woman was a piper. You see that video? They were saying down by some bar. Let me be real, Candice. Don't do that. Don't do that here on this thing here tonight.
Oh my God, I swear. Here.
I see the video. I see the video too. I see the video.
Oh.
That woman was a piper.
She was not
I
nobody, but the
don't
woman was
listen to me. I don't call. Listen to me. You guys, I don't call and find out, because I would have seen that and I say, wait, this is not something that's seen Trinidad.
How you know the woman is a piper? You see she
Oh God,
smoking drugs?
we does know that. We does know things. Don't worry yourself now. Call in
But
village.
listen, on a real note, I will not want a woman to do that for me. Let me say this: you are very old school, and in that old schoolness, even when we are forced to conversations, you have to allow me that avenue of manhood to actually pursue to that level. So that means I'm going out, and in my industry where I'll be able to do certain things, I must be able to have the pride and saying, yes, I went out and I take this woman of my own because you are the prize. We know that. But in my humble opinion, if the woman that I love come and do that to me and she takes that away from me, I mean, I'm already feel how I wouldn't embarrass her, but I still gonna feel a level of embarrassment. I mean, honestly, I have a bias. Because that's something I dream of for a long time. I don't want somebody to take that away from me, to be very honest with you. You understand? Yeah.
So you have a longing and a thirst to marry somebody, Mr. Mac. If that what you're trying to say.
Yeah, of course.
And to kneel long in front of them.
Definitely.
And you know somebody symbolically say that, they say that when you're married to somebody, you're symbolically submitting to the woman.
Of course, because we are called to do so. Even the great book the council speaks to men and it says, wives and husbands, submit yourself unto one another. It never say woman submit to husband alone. It speaks to men and women first. And I think if men really want to get a greater respect from women, they will understand that you are called to also be submissive to your partner. That is your partner. That is your soulmate. That is the person you want to build with and build well with and build everything with. That's your partner in business and everything, in friendship. So why is it that we are putting out this false narrative that, men can't be submissive to women? And if you are leading, you have to be leading from an avenue of control. That to me has some level of underlying toxicity to it. It sounds there's some level of insecurity to it. And for me personally, I just say for me, I can't say for every other man out there, I would never promote it.
All right.
Mr. Anthony, listening to that part?
No, well, I have no problem with that, because here what I say, I know that men are really the kings, and there is some that called if we had a look at the patriarchal system, that I mean people like King Arthur and men like Alexander the Great would have come out from. There is certain things that has come out from the patriarchal system, in which we have where the father figure is the head, and it falls down that cast. And the same Bible would have talk about the patriarchal system. Women submit to the man because the man is the head. I mean, I believe in the two submitting to a certain degree. But I don't believe man and woman is equal in no respect, because there are certain men and men are not even equal. Because when you had to go, when they're squaring up to fight and thing, I mean, there had to be in a particular weight and them kind of thing. So coming back to the point, I acquiesce. It's not something that I just promote, yes, because I just promote a heavy kind of masculinity. But there are times that, men need to submit. And Candace, I mean, you're right for calling me out on this, because we just be having a lot of conversations.
Jeffrey, let me ask a question. You do believe that men and women are equals?
No, not physically, a matter of fact. Not physically. Man are stronger than women.
Right. So if you're talking on physical strength, then I could understand. If you're talking about emotional strength, I could also understand. But is equality based on the avenue of strength, or should equality be based on the avenue of respect?
The avenue of respect, I believe they should be equal based on that. All of us are humans, and we should. I mean, I even acquiesce to the point. Look, I was having a conversation. Now, I personally is not of the ilk that man and man should beat man, and woman and woman should be together. But I respect their choice to a certain degree. But if you had to ask me, I do not agree with that. I respect their factor to life, to healthcare, and all these sets of things. And coming back to the same thing with relationship. I respect the factor that, women are, they are human beings just like a man. This the same way. We are all human beings together the same way. But I believe we're stronger in certain sense, in terms of mentally, physically, emotionally and all. But I'm not saying that there are women that are not stronger than men in that respect, because there are some weak men outside here in the same factors that I would have just lined out. But I believe that man domain, we well strong with that is concerned.
I tell you, Renaissance, I hear you, and I definitely agree with you, and I also amplify this point to say to some point that one, patriarchal system, as much as it has been successful, has also contributed a lot to our breakdown in our society. Even now, looking at we are African descendants.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that it was it didn't contribute to the breakdown, but it helped the society. It brings a certain amount of order.
Yeah. I totally understand what I say. I'm just saying to you that even what we are seeing now today, I know that we will never be equals to what society may gratefully accept and what society may not accept. And if you have to take into consideration marriage, tomorrow if I said, what, Candice, listen now, I know that you are my wife, but I'm ready to take on a second wife. How are you going to respond? How would you view that, Candice?
Wow. I will ask you if you're mad.
Why would I have to be manifest? Why would I have to be mad if I decided that I would like to take on a second wife? If my morality says, what, the aim is to ensure that all women can be equally married and have the access to husbands. Why would I be mad if I decide that?
No. I will not tolerate that. Not even if it was a Muslim. No, I couldn't believe that. The mere fact you want to marry somebody else is because here what? One time in my mind, I will be saying here what? You're not satisfied with me, and by asking me that question or wanting to do that will cause some kind of separation, real bacchanal, real confusion. So here we're going. And if that is what you want, mister, go your way. I'm not running it long, but I'm not having that.
Right.
After what can this say? I believe it should have, you see, the deregulated sexual market that it have in the whole world is what has caused plenty of the breakdown in society. I believe it should be regulated. Now, once you're over 18, you can have sex with whoever you want. You can beat whoever you want, a matter of fact. The society does not really regulate it to a particular degree. There are no rules. But I believe that is the cause of the breakdown in society, where people would have been with plenty of these sexual partners, and with people on a whole, it create preference. I believe love could only be shared only between two people. And I speak from experience.
First thing I say, I agree with you tonight. Let me get that clap.
So in cases where there is marriages that said, you know what, I have 4 wives, I love my wives equally, I take care of them equally, I treat them with the same level of respect. Are you saying that the person doesn't love his 4 wives if you have to directly take care of them equally and make sure that they're provided for equally?
No,
yes, he could love his wife to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, no. No means no.
We mean to a certain extent. We're talking about whether a man can love a woman equally and decide that, you know what, I'm taking on a second and a third wife. Is there a possibility that I, as a man, I can love my 3 or 4 wives equally?
Well, it could happen. It could happen.
Okay.
It could happen, Lyndon Mark. And the problem is this, I don't want to argue based on our exceptions. And I believe there are exceptions that it could happen. But let me tell you something. You see, I doesn't want to talk certain things, but let me not go into them kind of thing. Now, I was in relationships. I've got few relationships already, and I would have developed a lot of preferences, and some of the times it would have haunt me because it just having this kind of physical relationship with our next person, it wasn't electrifying. I was just, going through the motion until I would have stopped and decide to, have this one relationship and decide to preserve it to the fullest. Now, there are people that have a higher tolerance than some. We can't, I mean, we shouldn't have argued that fact. It is undebatable. But it's all, I mean, all goes back to the person. If somebody comfortable with it, why not? But if I was to say, trust me, don't even try that because, I mean, you just end up sexually frustrated at a particular point. That preference game, imagine you lying down and you feeling for something else. You're feeling for something the next day, you're feeling for this. It creates this state of confusion. Now, if you focus all your time and your effort into one particular thing, this one cash cow, this one thing, and you beat it into submission, or I mean, I just say that, I mean, I learned that from training, but if you focus on this one thing and you mold this plant, you water this plant, you take care of this plant, I mean, I believe you'll get more better yield from it.
Hey, you need to go and tell what's your name is, who have 3 husbands and one thing introduce a fourth all at the same time. Because I'm still here trying to understand how one woman can be living in a household with 3 men that she is married to, and at the point in time she said, you know what, I want to link up with my ex, and she went ahead out there and link up with her ex. Now the man living, all 4 of them living in the same relationship. I mean, when you think of the absurdity of it, you realize that yes, there are some levels where we will never be equal. There are some things that we will not be able to do, etc. Could you imagine 3 men in a household where every morning we have an erection and we are the most frustrated because there's only one wife? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
And there's a bunch of beta males, eh? I mean, a bunch of them just put themselves in a situation and just wow.
Yeah, but how does that work though? How does that work?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It will never happen with me, though. So I don't even care to begin to know.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, talking these conversations will not be easy, but I can understand everybody have their choice, and we have to be the society that will respect everybody's choice.
Well, yeah.
Even though it's not going to be the choice that you agree with, but you have to also respect those choices.
Yeah, we have to respect the choices, but oh my God.
Little Mark, I would have seen that, you would have been touring Trinidad for, on the 20th of October. Just recently, you was on this financial expo. Now, plenty of the times when I hear you talk, I mean, you talk from that, stage of empowerment, a matter of fact. You talk about people being financially strong.
Right.
And seeing that is the case, it had something that would have changed my life forever. I mean, as a young guy in 19 years, somebody would have, introduced me to a book, and I would have went a series of meetings, you understand, with a particular society in which I would have learned certain techniques and how to structure myself properly. Now, that book was Rich Dad Poor Dad, in which it would have taught about, financial security to a certain degree, and I would have read The Richest Man in Babylon, that would have taught me how to put aside my own finances and clear off my debts and so forth. Now, on this financial expo that you have, I don't want to stray from the topic. What was the salient message that you were sending out to the people? Because a man would have now sent the thing here for me, and I'm reading it, the MIBC, the 2004 Financial Expo, bridging the gap. What was the salient message in that whole affair that you was having in Trinidad?
Well, it's actually next month, the 20th. And, you know, in our community, we don't talk about the avenue of finances too much. We don't tell persons about making your money on the exchange. We don't tell persons about you directly being able to own stocks in every percent of the 1% company. So being the owner of a company and being registered to the Securities Exchange Commission, I decided that it was important for us as a people to know how we could come together, work together, bring our money together, and get things done. Most importantly, how you could be able to earn 100 US on the exchange every other day on the exchange. Basically, this is what it was aimed at doing. How you could invest your money and not be robbed by the bank who telling you to earn 0.02% at the end of the fiscal year. This is what the exchange is aimed at getting done. It's a collaborative effort between myself and one other partner of mine who owns a separate company. He's a reporting officer for the Securities Exchange Commission. So the world that we want to bring to you in that knowledge is going to give you everything to do with the secrets of the banking system, the secrets behind the Securities and Exchange system, how you can directly transfer, how you could have 3, 4, 5 checks coming from companies who are registered to the exchange. Those are things that we want to discuss in the forum. So the aim is directly bringing you and transforming your wealth, where you don't have to just be dependent on your one salary or your second salary or just your 2 jobs. It's about helping you to directly invest your money in the correct way, utilizing the rules of the exchange and making money on the international market. But there's also something I want to also tell you directly, and I think the community should know, because, you know, just yesterday they sent out some very powerful information. You know, the finance industry is about to change very soon. I should say that. That's the most I will say here on this platform. And it's about to change very soon because they are now moving to explore the virtual avenue of asset class. If you're smart and you know what I'm talking about, then you know they're planning to bring and change the market, because we are having a problem with the shortage of forex in Trinidad. And now the banks are balling, and now that they are moving ahead to try to change that. So research is being currently done about it right now. You know, so that's the most I see. That's what the focus of the exchanges is aimed at doing, helping you to directly grow your finances and helping you to, yeah.
No, I realize I would have made a mistake with the date, but what do you know about passive income, Lyndon Mac? Because now I don't want to jump the gun. Now this conversation is very much important to the factor that, all right, now let me break it down to people a little bit. There are only 4 ways under the sun a man can make money. There are only 4 ways: investor, business owner, employee, or self-employed. I'm sure you would have known that. But what is this passive income? Because if you were born in as an investor or a business owner, you're basically stuck in that position. And the next half of society, well, about 2/3 of the society is stuck in the position as self-employed. And 95% of the population of the world are either self-employed or they are employees, and only 5% would have occupied business owner and investors, when we talk about the Rothschilds and them kind of thing. Now, coming back to the question, what is passive income? What is passive income? And in that respect,
Passive income is the income that you make from what we call the avenue of sales. It's recurring income that is always out there because you're always out there engaged in sales. Passive income from having the right product can turn to residual income, meaning that because the product is out there and is already automatically being sold, you are having that money coming every month. So if I have a phone, I own a phone, and my company is engaged in selling phones, then every phone I sell, I have an avenue of passive income coming in. Or if I have a trade and I'm able to directly execute that trade, I have that avenue of passive income coming in. We know about the avenue of passive income. When you go out there to earn your salary in your job, you are earning an income every month. That is what's the definition of passive income. Transforming that conversation into residual income is a whole different subject. It's about solving a problem that can be always making you money. That one avenue of product can always make you money every single month, even when you are not there physically to directly sell that product. It's what we call the autopilot way of making money. So it's allowing you to make money ever so often because you have built something that is allowing you to either fix a system, provide a service, So let me give you a typical example. The business owner, the self-employed person who transforms to the business. Tomorrow he does not go into the business. He's now directly not depending on his time. He's depending on the other person's time in order to make him money. He's not out. So that means if I'm a plumber and I decide that I have a company and I know I'm no longer directly just depending on my time to go out there, that if I decide now I'm going to hire plumbers to go out and do the job, guess what? That's now residual income because now I provide service and now people are now hiring my company where I can allow them to go out there and get money made. So that's where it transfers.
You see what you're saying there? I mean, that is the same thing I would have told my mother. Now, my mother was working, and I said, Mommy, what's going on? I mean, I know you're working, yes. Let me generate something that we call passive income, something that we're not really depending on, but we can have the product there. That anytime the customer called upon us, I could have go in the complex explanation and telling she about websites and things. She would not have understand. So I say, yeah, what's going on? I'm going to buy 10 fans. I would have get some fan from a guy that's bring down fans, and we'd get for them normal Lasco fan, them 18-inch or 22-inch, and them for $150. Now I would have went wrong in the market and see that they were selling up to $350. So I say, all right, Mommy, I'm buying 10 of those here. This could stay in this storeroom here, it ain't probably affecting nothing. And I am going to broadcast this on the platforms and them I have. And all the people have to do is come and pick it up. Now, if they are outside of the area, what we will do is liaise with our courier service, in which you go charge some like $35 to bring it, which part the person wanted. And I said, Mommy, you don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is just sit down there. And when the sales come, you just make the sales. You just transfer it from this person to the next. I said, that is a way of passive income. That money now, you can take it and pay it in the bank and probably invest it into something else. And you see, now, if you set up 10 different avenues like this, there is residual income where you're not putting no kind of effort into it. Really and truly, you just have to have the investment. I'm not saying that there ain't gonna be times that you have to be there as to make it happen, but it's not an income that you're depending on. It's an income that you could use and store and but if you're smart enough, you go reinvest it into something. You watch the market trend and thing outside it. And
let me tell you a secret in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
How much person is watching this live right now?
How much?
How much person is watching this live right now?
Well, I see a lot of people fall off. I see 22 on YouTube. Right. I see it 15 on Facebook.
Right.
I ain't seen the Rumble audience.
Let me share something with you. One of the most powerful commodities in Trinidad and Tobago that is not all being offered here is something called whole life insurance.
Whole life.
Correct.
Okay.
Let me tell you how that works. If 15, 20, 100 persons come together and said, you know what? We're going to take out 100 insurance policy, $100 million US. This is what I'm saying to you.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide that from the avenue of that whole life policy, we're going to put into the policy by paying the premium every month. From day one, the policy it has activated. Day two, you can be able to withdraw money from the policy. It does not affect the policy at all. It allows you to lend money out there in the bank. Let me tell you something, the secrets in Trinidad and Tobago here, they don't ever tell us these things, and it is not done here by grand design. So I want you to know that there are a number of things they don't ever tell us, whereby we could be able to have what is called the access to wealth in Trinidad. Because in Trinidad, the insurance companies, the banks don't ever tell you certain things. This is why directly when Karen Priest came with his model, came with a model that we found out, and there were issues happening. You realize a lot of people had went inside the bank and started paying off the loans. People started getting money immediately, and the banks wasn't happening. You know who directly made the squeal? The banks. And who they get to use? The government. So I wanted to know that even in the avenue of business and building, there are a number of models here are not offered here. But that doesn't mean that a whole network of people can't collaborate to make those things happen. I'm telling you right now, Renison, it's always right now that even in our community, we could move to set up the bank. You don't even have the license here in Trinidad. That if you have to move to change the access of wealth tomorrow, it could be done. The problem is, and I'll give you this thing, I remember David Mohammed was literally saying on this program that the African Exim Bank wants to come to Trinidad, and they want to be able to bring $1.5 billion to Trinidad and Tobago to help improve the lives of African individuals. You know why the person is blocking it right now? 1%. So I just wanted to know that there is a capitalism form of structure that exists, and there's a systematic racism system that exists that does not want our people to rise and excel to the class. They don't. Because the moment it happens, they know two things is going to happen. They don't have to depend on you. They don't have to depend on going out there to vote, because that's how the government always utilize their votes, and that they can be able to build wealth for themselves and transfer wealth to the smaller generation that is coming.
Now, what you would have said there, Lyndon Mac, you see, I know for a fact that, all right, in the banking system in Trinidad, especially that have no regulatory system around it, they charge whatever interest, the one they are nothing that regulates in the banking system in Trinidad.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. It's actually regulated, by the way. Let me just put some.
It's actually regulated.
It's regulated. It's regulated by the central bank. All banking policies are regulated by the central bank. The banks have their own fee structure. That's how they will charge, because that's their individual business model. I also hold a license with the Securities Exchange Commission, so I am going to always give the correct information to the public. Okay. So they are regulated. But I want to say this to you.
But the charge your own interest and thing.
I say this to you directly. There is a systematic practice in the banking system that do not allow our people to have the access to wealth. And I'll give you a typical example. Why it is a man who owns land in Trinidad, if you walk in the bank tomorrow and say, hey, I want to borrow a loan for probably $2 million. My land is worth $10 million. Still have to come up with 10% of the financing, even when he's providing collateral on the table. Why? Because I know that if you move in business tomorrow to create the avenue of wealth system, they don't want for you to get that done. So the banks will be faster to provide you a loan for Carnival. They'll provide you to faster provide a loan for a car, because these things are not they depreciate in value. But when you talk about land, and you have villa, and you have what you call real estate, these things are always going to appreciate. So the banks will never directly give you that avenue of financing, and there is a blocking, I said it right in your life, for our people, for us, people who look like us, to be able to have the access to wealth. I'll also land the plane by saying this. 2024 is going to be the end of the decade for African people. You ask anybody in Trinidad for African people of African descendants, where it comes to us in the avenue of wealth creation, wealth access, justice, reparations, what has been transferred and conversated in 10 years, I guarantee you more than 85% of African descendants who are Trinidadians and Tobagonians don't know where that conversation is happening in our community. Yeah.
Wow. 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 See, the reason why, let me tell you something. What I was going on say is this. I see the bank don't really care if you're saving the money with them, innit? Them reach a point that they charge you interest, whether or not, because there are brilliant people outside there as myself. I don't save my money in no bank. I put it in a credit union because I know your money depreciates in a bank. I mean, it not only depreciate yearly, it depreciate monthly. The interest that they take for holding your money in a bank. In a credit union is not like that. So I actually just save my money there, and there are other places where I just put my money. So I just use the bank as a kind of transaction point.
I'll tell you that the credit unions are doing a better job than the banks because, again, directly when they operate by a share system, because of the amount of shares you have and the money that you bring, they're able to transfer that shares to loans. But when we talk about the asset class of the fiat currency, the money depreciates in value. The thing that is beating these credit unions is that their avenue of investment does not really expand to what we call the securities exchange or the international markets of commodities trading. That's what is beating the credit unions. And this is why you realize that African people, we are still struggling in Trinidad to be able to have the avenue of world class. This is what the securities exchange and the stock exchange in Trinidad and Tobago should have worked to fix a long time ago. But as you know, Renison, Trinidad and Tobago right now, there is no African banks. I would love to see one African bank established by African people in Trinidad and Tobago to create and change the system so that we can be able to have the access to wealth in bringing our money forward and getting things done. But you know something? Commercial banking in Trinidad and Tobago, banks don't care about your money. Banks don't care if your money falls on a Sunday to Monday. They know they already have the business coming forward. The only way that changes is if person says, you know what, I withdraw my finances from the bank, I want to do something else, and we move to set up our own institution to get things done so that when we move ahead internationally, it is not dependent on you just bringing your money to the commercial bank and they just lending it out at a rate. By right, and let me say this to you, by right, and this is where I have a problem with the Securities Exchange Commission in Trinidad and Tobago. If I am a member of the bank or my money is involved in the bank and the banks are lending out my money, there should have already been a policy design that as long as you are putting money in the bank and the bank is lending out your money at a quantitative easing system, you should be paid with a measure of interest. It would have been mandatory by law if Lyndon was going into the parliament in the morning. And I'm telling you, that would rock the whole financial institution of the system. But you know what those things that happen? Because the most corrupted entities that start at the top are the people who could control. So you have a lot of government entities operate like puppets in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? But that's all I'm telling you. I ain't dropping no more tidbits in your life because I
know. I had was to pull your leg a little bit because I mean there's information that you know that the public needs to hear. And the thing about it is this, I know that you know the part of society that I would have born into, I know I could never become rich here because the system is designed, but you could be financially free. You could be financially free. Yeah, understand what I'm saying?
I personally don't believe in financial freedom. Let me say
Why is that?
I personally do not believe in financial freedom. Let me say this to you. You can be financially stable, right? But and you will be able to have the more money you have, is the more time you have to do the things that you want to do.
Right.
But you're never going to be relinquished from the burden of paying for something. Financial freedom does not exist. Anybody who's telling you that lie is because as much as powerful that they ask them, if their money is not being spent every month to purchase something, whether they have to pay for a bill, they have to buy food, there is always a recurring expenditure. So you are never going to be financially free from being burdened by something. You can be financially stable because you have the stability in order to pay for this, pay for that. But you're never going to be financially free. That's a lie from hell. I never will ever.
No, what I mean, I feel I better use the word interchangeably. What you're saying is correct. You can never be, in the literal sense of the word, you can never be financially free. I agree with you. Son, but you can be financially stable where you're not living from paycheck to paycheck. You're not had to be studied. I mean, if you had to pay a bill, it's not like a substitution as to what taking place in Trinidad. Because most of the people, if they had to pay a bill in Trinidad, they had to substitute the health. Because they ain't going to be able to buy the proper medication and things that they are rightfully needed. But let me done that conversation there, because today is Bacchanal Saturday. We're really supposed to be having a little relationship talk. I know I pull your hamstring there a little bit, because we are going to invite Miss Coach Rhoda on the program, and I would like to have that dialogue with you and her. Because she's would have said, she know about some techniques, and she willing to share it with the people on our network. Candace, come now, man, you're quiet for long, and days back. I know I take from your program a little bit, but I believe it's information that people need to hear.
But
That's
guys,
why
I have to go now because
I realized you wanted to come.
I actually have to go now because it's 10. So let me just end by saying, it was a great live, great program. Candice, love your contributions. I want to say to you, Candice, I really hope you find love. Let me see if I can remove this thing from the chat here. I really hope you find love and find somebody who would really compliment you. Okay, because I think literally you can't be able to find someone who really will compliment you. But you always have to put yourself out there. Don't be too shy. Probably your man might not be in Trinidad and Tobago. Your man might be in China. Your man could be in Japan. Your man could be Spanish. You don't know. You know what I mean? You have to don't always have to limit yourself to here. So what will work for you here, you can look outside. But if you're not looking and you are happy, I also say to you, yes, that is also fine as well. So all your listeners, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for having me. And when I listen again, I know we'll just do this sometime. Just let me know in advance so I can prepare myself. Okay?
Okay then, brother.
Nice, my brother.
Have a blessed night, brother.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Candice, I mean, we had some discussions today, some nice discussions, as a matter of fact. Yeah, son, but you still try to slim a little bit, but I go leave that alone. I beg to differ, I go leave that alone. I mean, and we really come to wrap up time, and I know what you want to say in closing too at the same time.
Oh boy. Well, in closing, I think that going back to the story that we originate from with Mike and Jenna, I would urge people to stay away from Jenna, women like Jenna, because to me that character came over as a person, as a unreasonable person, a gold digger, a very inconsiderate person. And I'm sorry we didn't get to go into it some more because, but nonetheless, I think we would have touched a good bit on it, although a lot of people have been messaging their silence, but come back to the story. But nonetheless, seeing that
I know you have a different team down there who does be telling you them kind of thing, serious team.
Right, so seeing that we go over the time, it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys on the Bacchanal Saturday. And but we didn't start with a prayer. I think we should end with one. And because I know we have we Bush Lawyer on the live. I know she dropped asleep yet because she would have messaged me. Right? But tonight's topic was very entertaining. Mr. Renison does always try to get me back against a wall. I don't know what is his mission. But nonetheless, again with them, sing for fruit.
Now, Candice, before we dive into the subject, I ain't seen you, Candice. Right, I seen you now. Right. Before we dive off at the thing, I believe it should have some takeaways with the whole subject between you and Jenna, the whole story that you would have said there. Is one, the feeling of humiliation, that Jenna would have placed Mike through
Yeah.
You understand? Respect in the relationship. Managing expectations, a matter of fact. I mean, sometimes you might see a man. I mean, you have to be able to manage your expectation. It can't be too exorbitant. It has some women that go off the grid, and that is the reason why I would have came up with the I would have tell the story about my partner with the woman with the 9 doubles. Some people have to manage their expectations in a relationship and know how far in the relationship. I mean, how far you should go. I mean, you shouldn't be pushing a man to that. And two, I mean, the value financial independence. And I believe everybody should be financially independent. I mean, you can, this might say you ain't gonna go in a bar with money because you believe men are to buy. If you are just saying that, just an argument. I believe that both parties should be able to walk with money in the pocket. Just for courtesy that. You understand? You could bring something to the table too. You understand? And two, the advantages you could bring is learning boundaries. I mean, you must learn boundary. That could also be an opportunity for growth if you decide to stay or run away. If you decide to stay or run away, the emotional trauma in which we was talking about there, and the negative social perception, a matter of fact, negative social perception. So again, I mean, I could go into why, a matter of fact. I could give a matter of fact. Let me give you 6 reasons why. I mean, you might have other reasons too, Candice. I mean, I personally find that Mike should leave Jenna. And why? Why, a matter of fact? She would have displayed a lack of respect, manipulative behavior, materialistic attitude, poor communication, entitlement mentality, lack of empathy, a matter of fact. Lack of empathy. And that is the worst thing that you could get in a relationship. Now, I would have seen a gentleman down on my side, and he would have said to me this personally. I mean, he would have had a lot of family drama within his life. And yeah, what he say, Candace? He say, boy, I don't mind my brother, my sister, my mother say anything about me. He say, but the minute they tell me they don't care, they take this thing to the next level. Let them only say, I don't care. I don't care about you. He say, I just take it to the next level because he say he just do it out some of the times to make sure some, his brother, his sister, his mother have something. He say he does leave himself undone most of the times because he value family. I mean, he go argue with them, but he will never say that he don't care. And this lack of empathy is a very serious thing. If you're in a relationship with somebody, I mean, and they would have been displaying a lack of empathy, it bothers you. It bothers you a great deal. It real bothersome. So Candice, I mean, I don't know about. I go volunteer today to pray. You understand? I love to say the Lord is my shepherd prayer. And again, I know, as I say, I is a man not always hungry to cut off people. So, I could, just bowl back the ball to you. You might want to say something, I don't know. I value a comment, my co-host.
No, to be honest, I think that Mike should really, distance himself from Jenna because you don't ever want to be put in that position. Right? Because those type of women, I would look at them as mischievous women, as gold diggers. That whole scenario shows that she really didn't love him. She didn't really care about him. She wanted to keep her alive and she wanted somebody to fit the bill. Right? So I have sons, and I wouldn't like none of my boyfriend to end up with a Jenna, because Jenna will have to meet with me, right?
The big bag wolf.
And this is for you, and this is for the young ladies out there too. You can't go around doing these kind of things to men because he might be the one to walk away. He still pay for the for the lunch. at least yours, and he walk away. Some men will leave you high and dry. Some man might have cussed you out and it might end up in a big brawl. As a woman, you have to know your self-worth. And if this kind of low dodges, that ain't good enough. That will only stereotype you as a gold digger and as how some people just say as a hungry gal. So you need to stop that. If that is your ways and means to get things from man, that is not in this day and age. Man get smart now. Man get intelligent. You can't come wrong anybody with it. So young ladies, if you're doing that, stop at that. It's not
Candice, I didn't ask you one question, I mean, I need to ask you this question. Do you know about anybody that does do people that? I mean, amongst your friends. I mean, now it's time to put them up in a scene that, there's a woman at the cloth now. I believe you decide you should call out some of them. I know you have a wide variety of friends. I don't know if it's Blackbird that does do people that. I know, I just asked it. Blackbird does do people that. Blackbird, she does do people that Candice.
I have a lot of women friends, but I never would have heard them go down that road, or we never had that discussion, so I can't say. But I know for me, right? I ain't doing nobody boy child that. I'm not putting nobody child through that kind of humiliation. I'm not doing it. That is not the Christian thing to do. That is not right. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. And as I always say, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, although I have a hot trust issues, firstly, I will treat you the way how I would like you to treat me. I'll be honest, I'll be fair, I'll be faithful. But I don't mean to say Tom drunk, but Tom is a fool. I'm not going through that with nobody. If you come good with me, I come good with you. If you come shaky, I wouldn't return the same shakiness, but I will start to distance myself. And I will just fade away. And when you do expect it, it's gone. I go on my way because I don't have time for foolishness. I've been there, done that. I've went through enough. Enough is enough. So you see that kind of shot what Jenna put on there? You ain't gonna catch me doing that. And even if I have a friend on that kind of foolishness, I will pull you up and let you know what time of the day it is. One, out here is dangerous. Two, that is not the way to go. If you love somebody, you love somebody. If you're hanging around somebody, it's just a little Lyman vibes, everybody put together, and we come up and we pay the bill. But wanting that man to come align with you and then fit the bill for 17 people, all you Jenners out here in Trinidad and Tobago, you all need to stop it. Or you're making woman look bad. And that is my contribution.
Well, with that with that being said, people, I mean, at this point in time, I know we go do a recap in the end before we close off. But we officially ending the program at this point in time. But as I say, of course.
Let me hear you pray. I never hear you pray before.
As I would have said, I mean, it's a prayer that does keep close to my heart. I mean, it might be a verse that many of you would have known, but I was taught this prayer as a little boy from my mother. My mother would have taught me this prayer, and I just take it, I just hold it close to me. And the prayer is this: the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff may comfort me. Thou prepare the table before me in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Now, Heavenly Father, Amen. Thanks for your protection, your guidance, your peace, oh God. I mean, I pray for for your blessings and your covering in everything that we do. I mean, your Holy Spirit, dear Father, send your Holy Spirit amongst us. I mean, sometimes, when we're looking into the camera, we see nobody, but we know we're reaching distance. We're reaching places, we're reaching minds, we're touching hearts, we're touching souls. And, the battle is not ours alone. I mean, unless the Lord keepeth the city, the watchman watch in vain. Lord, be with us always. I mean, you go before us, and we will follow. I mean, in your name I pray, oh Father. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Candice, well, thanks for being on tonight. I mean, it's always a pleasure. Sometimes I just want to know how you just keep up with this thing. I mean, seeing that, no pay, no this, no that, I don't know how you just keep up with this thing. I mean,
I'm doing it, Mr. Renison. I'm doing this for the love of the people. Somebody had to come out here and do it.
Somebody
And
had to come out.
I sometimes just ask myself that, but I believe this is a charge was laid upon me by the Almighty God, the Almighty Father. So where He lead me, I will follow. Until such time, I'm here.
All right, Miss Edwards. And I mean, go and sleep tonight. I mean, I hope you find true love.
Of course.
I hope you find it. I hope you find it. I hope you find it. I hope you find it.
I believe in love. So one day probably I may find true love.
All right, Candice. Well, thanks for being on.
Until such time, my heart belongs to God.
You don't know what the woman and them just say. A matter of fact, the people at Trinidad and Tobago, now we are going to do a little recap as to what would have taken place. The story in which we would have started off this program, in which it would have stemmed from, is this piece here, in which we would have taken from the internet. This is it.
Like, you really just should have paid for all of our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why don't you gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Nobody wants a broke nigga.
Are you?
Whoa, bro!
Now that was one of the take that we would have seen and we would have picked up from the internet. Now, just a little bit of advice to many of you that are outside. This is a second take. We would have observed this whole thing that would have been taking place with the shooting and with the police thing, and we have a lot to say about that whole story. But you'll have to take. I mean, you gotta tune in. I don't know if we might do something tomorrow or Monday. So this is it here. Now that is the police in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, yeah, we would have seen the take, and we again will be able to address this situation at some point in time during the week. But sticking to the topic now, this was our next take that we would have seen. This was something that we had lined up for tonight. This man here with this amplia man, this something like Terrence.
You know what King said? Yeah. Yeah, go on, make a video. This man here, what's the video? This man here, he come in people place. He's sick.
Because she tell him she have a man and he said we can keep it on that low.
What?
Yeah.
Watch him walk him be over like this. Watch him coming fast. Watch him coming fast. Right. Watch him fast. We don't think for you. Kevin, he never scared to walk in amplia. He coming in people place and he chopping the girl with the soccer gun. He's sick. And Kevin had him. Right.
Now, that is something that would have taken place in Trinidad. No, we didn't get a chance was to touch that whole subject. Sometimes when we constructing the program or the program is going on, it does take a different shape. So that is our next piece of bacchanal that right now existed in Trinidad, and we will talk about it. And this was the next thing that we would have picked up on international media, matter of fact. A little bit of advice for you men outside it.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure, right? None of this stuff in the studio is built or maintained by women. Do you know that 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men? Mm-hmm. And that if you look at the top 20 jobs held by women now in 2024 versus 1924 are almost the exact same. So women have had 100 years to do whatever they want, and they still do the same 20 jobs they did 100 years ago, other than we switched out farm labor for HR work. But other than that, we're secretaries, nurses, daycare ladies, early childhood education, administrative assistants, retail workers, all the same shit that we were a century ago. So if the men are the ones tasked with every time there's a natural disaster, they have to go out and rescue people from the fires and the floodwaters, and every time there's a war, the men have to go and fight it and defend the country, and anytime there's a criminal who needs to be violently arrested, it's going to be a man who goes and does that, not a woman. Where does the equality come in? If we're doing the fluffy jobs, we're all singers, we got a lot of singers and musicians, which is cool, it's great, I love music too. But y'all ain't rescuing people and doing the heavy lifting or the dirty or the dangerous jobs, like who collects the trash? Men. Who does all the steel working and oil rig work and all of the sewer cleaning?
Right, so that again was something that we thought that it very helpful to you, some of the men outside there. And before we close off, we would like to say that we have some headsets on sale, some M2 headsets in which we are selling for only $100. We will do advertising sometime in the week. So you're seeing that the M2 headsets on them. Get your headsets. A matter of fact. And we have some projectors selling now. The projector is going for $500. Get your projector, you can hook up to your phone. Okay. Why this thing not really showing? Don't know why and yellow. Alright, we have up the different background. But this is it here. Trying to see if I could get a good. Anyway, we got the projector selling. We go put it up for you guys to see at the same time. Again, my name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Justice Advocates program. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and be again a part of this fastest growing network. Or you show some love, like the video, forward it to a friend. Tell a friend that we on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I mean, we went up till 10, so we give you a little extra. Oh God, I passed 10. So, with that, people, we are out. Thanks for watching.